All right, we're almost there. Bear with me. It's doing the last promotional things. Okay. All right. What's happening, guys? How's everybody doing? We got a lot of snow here in Alabama. So we got snowed in today. Luckily, I was able to make my hours up here just hanging out in this chair, this comfy chair that LSS provided. Yeah, I won a sweepstakes. They didn't just give it to me because I'm special or anything like that. I just got lucky like one time. And I'm not very lucky very often, so I'll take it. What is up, people? Ed and Allin. Hey, hey, New Jersey Damo. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. And Jordan, yep, I understand what you're saying being snowed in. Yep. It's been a good time. Now, when we say snowed in Alabama, it only takes like 2 inches of snow for you to be snowed in here because we just like can't drive on the roads at all because they don't condition the roads. Because anytime there's any snow, it's just over. It's just over. And we have mountains, which are just basically like oversized hills because of the way that the land is just structured, right? And I'm over the mountains, right? The quote unquote mountains. So I am definitely not able to get anywhere. But again, it's a good time. You know, the house is warm, so I can't complain. 2 inches is a lot. You're right. You're right. It depends on who you ask, for sure. Emery, good to see you. Exact same situation in North Carolina. Yep, 100%. I have about a foot on your balcony. Hey, I've never seen snow uh, deeper than probably a couple of inches here in Alabama. I mean, I've been to like Colorado and some other places like that where it gets really deep and, you know, you go skiing and stuff like that. But yeah, here it's usually like super soft powder and stuff, and then like the roasts just get really icy. Damo, short for Damien. I got you. I got you. It's meant to be. It's meant to get 91 here in Australia. Would much prefer the snow. I got you. Yeah, I'm a cold weather guy too. I get it. All right, so we're gonna recap very quickly the Battle Hardened that I played in Atlanta. I ended up going 4-3. One matchup, it was basically impossible for me to win. I felt pretty good about it, but the way that their deck was structured and the way that my deck is structured, it just wasn't going to work out. Okay, and I'll explain that. It was actually round one, so I lost round one. I was like, oh man, this is not fun. Well, we'll go ahead and swap over to the gameplay screen so you guys can see that, right? So here is the Jarl deck, okay? I'm calling it the Tempo CYB board. I want to give credit to multiple people who have kind of like guided this deck to this direction. I'm just kind of playing it and had a little bit of input here and there, but they did the brunt of the work. So that is Vero, if you know who Vero is online. And then Damien, a local of mine, he goes by the Mage Master on Discord. So I playtest with these people a lot, in addition to my team and all that, and we kind of, you know, landed on this list, and it was always very strong. The results were really high. It's just a really difficult deck to play, which is why I ended up going 4-3. Okay, so this deck here, you can see it's only AB1. Goliath Gauntlet is a very interesting piece. We just did an A to Z series with Marco from the Tekla Foundry. That is a very similar kind of build to this, just with some a couple of changes just based on what Marco prefers. And there's nothing wrong with you know, playing those differences here. There, not one list is better than the other. It's just based on pure preferences, right? So Civic Steps is the big thing. The big difference between those lists is Civic Steps versus Rootbound Trunks. And he's playing more auras to be able to supplement the Rootbound Trunks, and also the auras in certain matchups, like Nerves of Steel, can be better than some of these other options here, like Boulder Drop. Okay. So yeah, this is the list, 71 cards plus the 9 pieces of equipment. Let me pause just for a moment, so bear with me. I'm throttling a little bit. There's a lot of lag here as I scroll. So let me change what I'm doing on the background to something that's a little bit easier to run. So you might hear some crackling once I closed the background application. I'm having an issue with my microphone, so if anybody knows how to fix this, I use a program called NVIDIA Broadcast that allows me to filter through and make sure you guys don't hear clicking or anything like that. But what I've been having to do lately is run like just a video game in the background, and for some reason that like fixes it. I don't know, it's super weird, but that's what we're doing. So I'm going to run a less intensive video game because it was just throwing everything off. Okay, so we are back to this screen. All right, it's a lot quicker. Okay, I had Path of Exile 2 running in the background. That was probably not the right call because that is a little more intensive than some of these other games. But okay, so going into this, this is the base list. You're playing Count Your Blessings, which is why it's called the Tempo CYB board. So this is inherently a tempo deck, but this is not a CYB deck in general. This isn't what I'm trying to do all the time. Okay, this is more of a sideboard card. Okay, but I'm playing Command and Conquer, I'm playing Frostfang, Icequake, a lot of very aggressive pieces here. Weakest Link, Boulder Drop. So this is more of like a resource card that I can also use to have a higher threat density. Hopefully that makes sense. The big thing is the blue base here is there's only one attack, being Fruits of the Forest, and that is a concession to the existence of New. Okay. When you are able to cut your one blue attack and play into New, your matchup ends up being a lot better, unless they just, have everything that they could possibly need, which would be like, here's surgical extraction, then they have the react for it, and then they put like a codex, which, spoiler alert, this happened to me too. And I'll go into that. But round one, I play against a Prism, okay? The big critical piece to this list, if you can see right here, okay? It might be a little bit small. I'll zoom in just a little bit so you can see how important this is, okay? Right here, power of 6 or greater is only 13, okay? That is very low to what we are usually used to playing for a Guardian deck, okay? 13 poppers are in the list. That's Command and Conquer, Oakenold, right? Smack of Reality, Weakest Link, Boulder Drop. That's it. That's the list right here. So these cards. And a lot of these cards we actively want to be playing into pretty much every matchup anyway, except maybe Smack. This is more of a tech piece. So if I'm blocking with my Oakenold to pop their Herald, sure, that's pretty good as long as I have something else to follow up with. But if that's like my whole plan was to Oakenold with a fuse, it can be pretty hard. So that matchup is difficult if they decide to lean towards the more aggro Herald build, which is what happened on round one. So I'm playing. I'm doing really well. We have a good amount of equipment here. So if I show you the Prism setup. So I'm playing every single popper that I can, and I'm boarding out a few of these cards here. I'm not playing the CYB, not playing Flourish. I cut one Plow Under just to be able to make sure I have enough resources. I don't want to cut any more blues than I already am. A couple of Blizzards because it doesn't block, and then a Sow Tomorrow, right? So just kind of a trim here and there. So yeah, what I was doing in the beginning of the game is, I would see my Oakenolds, I would try to use those to be able to press a lot of damage, and, I'd pummel as much as I can and then try to get some value off of these ice cards, right? To be able to kind of stumble them. And it was doing really well at first. And there was one critical hand where I drew an all red hand, and it was like 3 poppers, okay? But I had full tempo at that point. But luckily, because of the way the deck is structured, so the highest costed card other than Smack is a 3-cost card. That's why we can get away with how many little blues are in the list in general, because you're playing the yellows to kind of supplement that. So that hand ended up being, Send a Frostbang or something along those lines, which still isn't that bad. But I'm pitching like 2 poppers, maybe a Command and Conquer and a Weakest Link to be able to play this Frostbang. Now they're in the second cycle, and now I know I'm open to some of these other heralds, and especially if they're red 7s, it's a big detriment to me. So I have Gauntlets, I have Crown, I have Stalagmite. Also, if they are playing, like if they end up playing a Herald of Erudition or anything that has Dominate type thing, then that's a big deal too. So I use the armor just to kind of stop those on hits whenever I don't have the poppers to be able to send something back that is disrupted to push. I wasn't able to push their life total as low as I needed to be able to continue to keep them off to where they only have 2-card hands, right? And ultimately what happens is they send 6 and they play their Angelic Wrath, which they ended up being on like, I think 8, right? So eventually they got to the point where they were able to push that. And then after getting a couple of those heralds to follow through, they were on Imperium Rapture, right? The chest to be able to flip over. And then they kind of just ran over with the game. Even though I was like 25 health ahead, they were able to get back just from getting a couple of herald swings. So in general, that matchup, when they play in that way, very difficult just because I don't have the opportunity to be able to cover all the heralds. I have to block exactly. And if I don't have one of these D-reacts like Rootbound Carapace, then we're kind of just, really, really behind. Hey, been ages. What a nice birthday present, a Jarl recap. You're welcome. You're welcome, Matthew. Yeah, so that matchup, in general, if they're on like the more hybrid style Prism, and they're not on like 8 or 9 Angelic Wrath, I don't think it's that terrible because you don't have to play around as many of those reacts. You can block more exactly and still be able to do things like, I'm pretty okay blocking with 3 cards and then attacking with the Titan's Fist on one of their Spectral Auras, because they'll, attack, they'll pay for it with the boots, and then play like a 0 or something along those lines. Maybe a Pierce Reality or a, what is the other one? Haze Bending, where they lose Phantasm. And you really have to like blow those up because we don't have a lot of poppers. And when we do have a popper, we need to make sure that we can do that. So ended up going 0-1. Wasn't super thrilled about it, but it is what it is. And I'm not letting it get to me. We go through, play the next few games, and we get a few more wins, right? So we're still live for the Battle Hardened by the time we get to round 5. Love the egg content. I appreciate it. This is a list that Lupine Fiasco are playing. I'm not sure what Lupine is playing, but this is a list that was on the Purple Discord. So if people have been grabbing this list, it probably looks very similar to this, maybe a few cards off, but this has been kind of the generalized Jarl list that a lot of people have been finding success with, because it is like a hybrid Earth and Ice that has disruption built in, is aggressive enough that also can pivot to fatigue. It does a lot of things. It doesn't have as many 3 blocks as I'm used to playing Guardian, but still very strong. Now that we're kind of into it and we have a good amount of viewers, I do want to let you guys know that we are kind of pushing towards like the YouTube membership. So if you guys are interested in that, we're trying to get that going to where, it's almost like a Twitch stream, to where you can go in, you can use the emotes and all that kind of things. It's kind of like a small Twitch subscription if you want to do that, because we basically only stream on YouTube. And one of the first emotes that you'll get as a member is my face just like doing that, me staring somebody down. There it is. You see it. Yep. So we have Kyle here with the emote there. If you want that emote, hit up that membership there, and you can get that beautiful emote of me with the longer beard staring down my opponent, looking into their soul, and trying to soul read what they're doing. Right? I can't remember what event that was. I think that was Tampa. Is me getting after it. Okay, so round 2, I play against the Zen. Do you think the Marvel and gem packs will be Jarl? I sure hope so. I would love a Marvel Jarl. That would be really sweet. The Jarl that I have that I opened up, it ended up being damaged at the top. It's nicked. So It doesn't really bother me because, you know, it's one that was given to me by LSS, so I'm not going to be like overly picky about my card being super pristine because I didn't turn around and buy it, so it's more of a sentimental thing. But it would be really neat to have Marvels because I'll definitely play a Marvel over the Rainbow Foil if I get one. So pretty sick emotes and fun things coming for sure. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of things. Maybe some voice to chat that we're trying to or chat to voice, I guess. So you can like do like one of those little donations or something like that, and do like a voice to chat and say like, hey, you know, blah blah blah, I have this, and then you can make suggestions in the stream. There's a lot of options that we can do. But yeah, so round 2, I play against Zen. Okay, so this is a matchup where I believe it is a little favored, but it's still difficult because MST is just kind of so pushed. It's such a strong set. So all of those heroes are going to be very, very difficult to play against. So you need to play very tight, but if you do play tight and you use your Stalagmite and all these other cards, the way that the deck was kind of intended to be played, then I feel like it is pretty strong. So the way that we've been boarding, we tried different iterations of this, is with CYB in there. And the reason being is Zen has kind of like went towards, at least in this matchup, to being able to play a more value-oriented game plan. So they'll be able to block for 3. They might have like a Cosmic Awakening late game to where if they're able to keep 3 cards in hand, they have a Cosmic in Arsenal, they can send that back for 20. This is a way to kind of get around that. Also, when you get to a late game, you will notice that they will have a bunch of chi in their hand. They'll use a chi on your turn to get a tiger, and then the following turn, they'll attack with their weapon. They'll attack with the tiger for 1. They will then use the chi to go get another attack, come in for another 1 or something like that if they used all of their reds already, and then attack with the other tiger to get like a buff on off of the gloves, or they'll arsenal the tiger and be ready for the next turn. So they're kind of chipping you down. It's almost like a Kodachi lock from classical Katsu, right? Yeah, we love that you love the channel stream. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so yeah, Zen, that is the reason that we're playing the Count Your Blessings here. So we're playing a little bit more than that because we have the ability to have a longer game. So there have been games where I was playing the flat 60, no CYBs, and I was playing 1 additional card, or I guess 3 in this case. I was playing Enlightened Strike and cutting the 2 Sotomaros. And that works out pretty fine, but you have to really have disruption basically every turn, which is a little bit easier when you're on 60 cards. But E-Strike is just damage. It's great late game if you can push a lot of cards out of your opponent, but in this case, it doesn't really do a lot, especially if you see this mid-game, you're rolling disruption, and then you end up drawing an E-Strike turn. Sure, you might push a decent amount of damage. It's not going to be anything amazing. It might be 5 into 4, but they'll just use their hat at that point and send back 20-something, which could be a problem. Where this allows you to kind of play Command and Conquer. You can bluff Pummels because this is the same cost as Pummel. Use your Tunic counter, play a CYB, gain a little bit of life, and there you go. So yeah, this structure, very, very strong. I was able to kind of out mid-range the Zen in this case, and the CYB kept me high enough to where I didn't really have any like stress about falling too low. I was able to close out the game pretty easily there. Yeah, they just ended up running out of threats. It went a little bit longer. I'm not actively trying to fatigue. It just kind of happens naturally to where they had to lean towards a Cosmic Awakening end game. But I was keeping cards out of them so long with playing Icequake, giving them Frostbite, playing Frostbang. In addition to that, you know, any of these 2 costs are incredible for that. Plow Under, Command and Conquer, Weakest Link, so on and so forth. Weakest Link against those hands as well is going to be very, very big, which forces them to make some other plays, like, you know, pitching their chi from their hand and trying to do some other things. Okay, so round 3 was against Viserai, and this is the game plan that we've been doing into that, and this has been very strong. I've been testing this a little bit more since I've been back as well, and I still believe that this is probably the right configuration for this deck list into Viserai. So The AB1, this is the main reason that we're playing AB at all, obviously, is for Viserai and Aurora. So any of these Rune Blades. Kano is very bad, as you can imagine, with AB1. It's still not like just impossible because the CYB and the ice cards are actually very strong. But yeah, the AB1 is mainly here because we are concerned about Viserai. So Viserai, we're playing Command and Conquer, Frostfang, all these other things. The CYB is in here. Yes, I know they're on Reaping Blade, but this is important for a mid-game pivot to fatigue if you need to. Hold on just a second. The dogs are crying. Give me 1 minute. All right, they're good. They're good. Don't worry about it. Okay, so we're at 60. The whole point of Smack Reality is here for Viserai to be able to play this. Sure, you can play it in Prism. Like I said, it's just added popper. You can play it into Enigma. The on hit doesn't matter, but it's just a big damage number, right? So we just kind of play it here, but it's predominantly for Viserai to be able to blow up those rune chants when they're stacking. So here, the sideboard out has been E-Strike is just extra damage, doesn't really do anything. It's not ripping cards out of them. Weakest Link has no text at all, really. When you are on the aggressive and they are sitting back, taking a few turns, not doing anything, the moment you draw a Rootbound Carapace, it's really bad. Sure, it's good if they're playing like this mid-rangey, I make a few rune chants, I attack you, and then you can arsenal this, and this is good, but it's actually a liability for you to arsenal. In a lot of cases, if they are more of a, I'm going to stack bigger and then not do anything for a couple of turns and then blow it up. So that's why we're taking this out, and then Felling of the Crown is just really not that good when you aren't playing the Rootbound Carapace in this case. And they are doing that. It's only going to come in for 4 for the first time, unless you play like a Sotomar or something like that, which, it's all very reactionary how you have to play. So it doesn't really come up very often that it comes in for 8, and that is important. Most of the time, this is just going to be a block 3, and I would rather have a yellow block 3 instead if I'm going to play one of these decomposed cards. And the disruption on this is relevant enough because a lot of times when they are arsenaling these and I end up playing this, the 2 doesn't matter more than getting rid of their arsenal, that being a reduced to rune chant or a Mordred Tide or something along those lines. Okay, so playing as many blues as we possibly can, more yellows and whatnot, and just cutting a lot of these reds to be able to pivot to fatigue as we need to, right? So we're playing 10 yellows and then 30 blues here. Okay, so it's effectively like kind of like 40 blues if I'm playing the cards, but it's enough resource pitch to be able to consistently fatigue if they don't have a just astronomically large rune chant stack and a really big follow-up turn that's like, double ninth blade or something along those lines. So generally the way this is played, they'll stack some rune chants turn 1. Because we have so much aggression in this, we can, Oaken Fused, we can Frostfang, try to keep them off of their big hands. So by the time they do decide to use their rune chants and attack with something, they're usually only doing it with like a 2-card hand, maybe a 2-card hand in the arsenal or something along those lines. The moment you send a Smack of Reality, they also have to basically give you 13 no matter what, even if you send it for 9, as long as you can represent that you have a pummel. That's also the purpose for Goliath Gauntlet. So Goliath Gauntlet giving +2 means that your Ice Quakes also work with your Smack of Reality. Same thing with these 2 flourishes. The yellow and the blue are here mainly for the new matchup. So the split for that, you could play 2 blues if you're seeing some resource issues, but the yellow is actually very strong into them whenever you get to a late game and they start trying to banish off the top of your deck with their hero power. So that's kind of the reason for that split. But that's the big thing. So we have the 3 pummels, 3 Icequake, 2 flourishes here, and that's basically all of the pumps. I guess like Terra Sunder technically is one, but you're never Terra Sundering the Smack of Reality plus the Goliath to be able to turn this on because you need 13 or more for it to be a relevant on head. If they're doing a huge rune chant stack, you have to hope that you have Smack of Reality, and then you draw another one that is able to be triggered online. So that would be, the first one would be Pummel Threat, and then the second one, you don't use the Pummel, they used all their armor, and then all of a sudden you're able to cover it up. It's also easier to do if you play a Crumble, but what will usually happen against a high-skilled Viscerai is once you play the Pummel, they're kind of forced into having to attack with those rune chants. So this could be a way to kind of get them to go off earlier, because you don't actually need to attack very much. So if you just play a Crumble and they have, let's say, 15 rune chants, then they're a little more like incentivized to go ahead and attack, because the threat of playing a Smack with Dominate plus blowing up all the rune chants is the risk is too high for them to keep it. So once you do that and they blow up their full stack, they will generally just continue to be aggressive, because they don't have the power to be able to build up a lot of rune chants quickly. Because a lot of times for them to build up the rune chants, they're having to play Mordred Tide and multiple turns of like Read the Runes and so on and so forth. So they're using a lot of these cards that are building this stuff up, and it's not staying consistent for them. So then I just pivot to Fatigue. I'm even blocking with my 2 blocks. There in my early testing, I was like, well, I have a 2 block blue and then a Frostbane. Maybe I'll just keep that and attack back. That's incorrect. You just pitch, you pay all the rune chants with your blue, you block here, and then you play your CYBs when it's convenient to do so. The only time that I play CYB in response to like a big turn is maybe I have the red and it's a little more optimal to play the red than to pitch it for AV. But most of the time with these yellows, I'm pitching those to second cycle. That's a big deal. And you save more life in the long run by using those as AV pitch, the yellows, than you do just playing them outright. Because, if you only have 2 Count Your Blessings in the yard, you play this, you gain 4. You can pitch a blue, pitch this, that's blocking 5. It's more life at that stage. Hopefully that makes sense. And that's exactly what I did against this Viscerai. So they did a little bit of stacking, not a whole lot, and then they were a very, very aggressive list. It was the more yellow-based Viscerai. So they were just a lot more aggressive, didn't have as much rune chant stack, and I think that matchup is a little bit easier to beat with this list. But all in all, I think the matchup is probably 50-50 to a little bit favored, unless they are on like 3 Blessing of the Occult and they have like 3 of the Aura, Tutor, and all that, the Sonata Galaxia. That is pretty difficult because they can stack a bunch of rune chants very quickly, and that one can be pretty bad because it's hard to keep them off of all the cards. They play more defense reactions and whatnot, so they're able to cover up your disruption a little bit easier, so on and so forth. But I did end up winning that, so at this point we're 2-1 in the Battle Hardened. We go to round 3. I play against an Ira. This Ira played the PTI the next day and went undefeated. So very good Ira player. Now, the difference between this Ira and some of the other ones that I've seen, there's been kind of 2 variants that I've seen that had a good amount of success. The first one is the kind of head jab tribal-esque one where they're like very aggressive. They're attacking with their Kodachis, they're coming in for 0-3s a lot, and then they play like Command and Conquers, some other random things that you generally would want to play in Ira anyway, right? Because Command and Conquer for 7, very, very strong. The other build is like they're on a ton of defense reactions and maybe some CYBs or something along those lines. This was more like the second one, and that matchup is a lot more difficult for Jarl if they're on CYBs and they're also on all of these D-Racks. Luckily for me, they were not on CYB, so I was able to treat this as more like a Guardian Mirror. So the way I board into this is Sledge and then all the blocking pieces, playing CYB, and then just cutting some of the cards that don't really do a whole lot. So Weakest Link, Smack, and Flourish. And I was able to, kind of supplement the damage. They were coming in for 1, 2, and then like a 1 for 5, which is very consistent damage for them. Very high output, like just efficiency in general. But the Count Your Blessings allows me to kind of take the Kodachi damage, block the last one to stop any kind of mask momentum trigger or anything like that, and kind of just gain life out of that. These are almost like pseudo defense reactions once you start playing them later in the game. So I was able to continue that, play these other cards, you know, Sledge off a tunic counter, just be efficient back, right? So it was a very interesting matchup, and I was able to clear that. They were on Sigil of Solace, but that was the only life gain, and because of that, they weren't able to kind of keep up with my raw card efficiency by late game. It didn't end up going to fatigue. It ended up going to just, you know, me being a little more efficient in that case. So I was able to win that. So I'm 3-1 for the day. Feeling pretty good. The next matchup is Riptide. Okay. I lose to this Riptide because I board incorrectly because of some testing that we did, some inbred testing. So for Riptide, what we have done in the past, and this is now the corrected board plan based on what my experience from the Battle Hardened. So before, we tested playing Stalagmite and Titan's Fist because the Riptides that we are more, you know, used to seeing is kind of like the Ravenous Rabble. Put something in Arsenal, play the arrow in Arsenal, play like if it has go again, like a Falcon Wing or something like that, and then use the arrow or the bow, play another arrow, and they're very Redline-esque and be able to be a lot more aggressive. So that Stalagmite is actually very strong there. And the way this deck is structured is we don't have a ton of these 3 cost in the blues. As you can tell, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 12 total. So the rest of the blue base makes it to where Titan's Fist only comes in for 3, right? So against these aggressive decks that don't have all of this recursion power, the Titan's Fist is just fine, and the Stalagmite is a lot better at maintaining your life total here because we have a lot less 3 blocks in this variant of Jarl. So I did that, still playing 68 just to kind of hedge along this fatigue. But what ended up happening is this Riptide was playing, you know, Dreadbore, which is pretty common, the stuff that you would expect in the equipment zones, except in the legs and the gloves, they were playing the aim counter centric pieces. What's up, Nico? They were playing the 2-for-6 game plan, where they were just kind of playing almost like a Guardian list, but make it Ranger. It was very interesting. They were also playing Pummel, which really threw me off guard because they were like CNC, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to block this for 6. And then they were like, okay, Pummel it. I'm like, huh? What is this? This is weird. So I got blown out by that for sure. The game ended up going to fatigue. They had double Remembrance plus the Remembrance Quiver. The Abyssal Depths Quiver, I think is what it's called. So they were able to just get enough cards, and I did end up fatiguing. And if I had Sledge, I do think that I would have won that matchup. If I just boarded Sledge correctly and kind of like trusted my initial gut. Because in general, Sledge has always been the card that I like to go for the Riptide matchup, because it doesn't gain any power by itself. You can kind of just throw the damage. They don't have an insane amount of like 3 blocks or anything like that because they need to play their buffs and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, this Riptide was really, really cool. They had this yellow pump. It was like a 1 for +3. And then it would trigger the Riptide. He would put in the 2-for-6 specialization card that says if it has an aim counter, it gets Dominate, like +1 and Dominate. So flips it over, or yeah, puts that down, flips it over, then gives it an aim counter, and it comes in for 10 Dominate. It was pretty wild. There is the TheCardGuyz, right? This is the TheCardGuyz. Yeah, that list. Yes. That's correct. Yeah, that list was like really cool. And he was 3-1, so it was obviously like very strong player, and he was just getting people. It was sweet. Now I've got that list saved. So I also play Rip. Yeah, it's very wacky. I did not expect it, but if I had just made this change, the Sledge change, it would have been really, really good. So I feel like I would have potentially got there just because like the efficiency of Sledge is just so strong, especially into that matchup, that I think against any Riptide, you should probably just play Sledge, even if it is the more aggressive one, because you have CYBs, you can like take turns and just block those. It's perfectly fine. So I ended up losing that one, like we said. The next mashup is against New. So New is a very, very tricky matchup. But I do think ultimately that it is favored as long as they don't have like the perfect disruption every turn, which ended up happening. I do think I did misplay at this one point. So I'm not saying that there wasn't an avenue to victory. But the first turn of the game, I had like one of the weirdest hands that I've seen in a long time. It was like channel, frozen, like a so tomorrow, and then like a pulse of eyes or something like that. Just a bunch of blues. So I was like, well, I can filter into the gauntlets or something along those lines. I don't remember the exact structure. It might not have been pulse, but maybe a Terrace Hunter or something along those lines, or a Winter's Bite. So I don't want to like just burn these cards. So what I ended up doing is attacking with a sledge. They block with a leave no witnesses, and I'm feeling pretty good at this phase, right? So I'm like, okay, they're blocking with leave no witnesses. This makes me feel this is a power card that they're getting rid of. It was like a leave no and like a persuasive. I was like, man, those are some really good blocks. Like I'm happy to see those cards gone. Well, of course, their turn one, because I went first. Their turn one is play something, go again, swing some daggers, and then it's like Codex. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't have to discard for the Codex, but this leave no witnesses is very, very annoying. So I'm like blocking those out. There's like a pump on that. They blow up my arsenal. I'm like, okay, that's great. The follow-up turn, I don't really do a whole lot. I maybe arsenal, and then it's the same thing. The next turn is like a couple of daggers, Codex, and I'm just like, geez, okay, well, here we are. I'm blocking it out. It blows up my arsenal again because of the reactions. I'm like, great. So it ended up being a very aggressive new kind of list. So they didn't have like, I don't think really any defense reactions. It was just like all these attack reactions and trying to push damage. And I wasn't really prepared for that because what I'm usually used to seeing with new is that they're going to have some defense reactions, and a lot of them are going to be playing Count Your Blessings. So in a way, like if I played a lot more defensively and just kind of reacted to that situation and noticed what was going on, they also chose to go second instead of going first, which is kind of a tell as well. Then I possibly could have navigated in such a way to where I wouldn't get blown out by all these circumstances that happen. The following turn, it was something along the lines of dagger into like a surgical extraction. Once I saw the surgical extraction, I'm like, well, you have like a couple of cards in hand left. It's obviously going to be a pump. I let the dagger that makes it to where the attacks are less spider's bite. So I block all 6 on that. They ended up pushing it over anyway because it was all attacks in my hand. So I blocked for 6. And they grab more cards. They are banishing good cards off the top and whatnot. And it's just a rough time, right? So we get to the point where they're like almost 20 life ahead. And I'm like basically completely cleaned out from my armor. I'm using it like to cover up certain spots, to be able to have like a potential pivot play or something along those lines. Some really well-timed Siren's Call to blow up like some of these blues that I have in hand, which the way the deck is structured is if they do Siren's Call, a lot of times you can have like a Count Your Blessings. You can pitch your blue to be able to play Count Your Blessings, and then they don't get the draw off of Siren's Call or anything like that. So there's a lot of counterplay with this, which makes it very interesting, which is the main reason I like Count Your Blessings in this list is for this matchup. But yeah, there was a late game. I was able to almost equalize the life totals where it was like 5 difference. I'm maybe like 7 or 8 or something along those lines. They're like 14. And I have like the perfect comeback hand, which is Oakenold, a multi-element fuse card. I have Pummel in hand, and then something else, right? So they're attacking me with finally some like kind of lackluster blues that like don't really matter. So like a Double Trouble or something like that. And I, don't block or anything like that. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, as long as they don't have like one of their 2 last Arsenal Disruption cards, like a CNC or something like that, then like I can really claw back here and probably get it. And of course, the last card was a CNC off of the go again, and I basically instantaneously lose from that. Like I said, I think there were ways to potentially win this matchup, but I needed to play much differently earlier in the game than I did. So that I ended up losing that very good player of course, not knocking anything like that. So at this point, we're 3-3. Just to show you the board here. So I'm cutting the fruits and then cutting the smack of reality, just to not have too many reds, because I do need to be able to, attack with sledge and whatnot in general. And then most of the time, what we try to do is get rid of the mask as soon as possible, because if you can get rid of the mask, even if you run out of cards in deck before they do, once they run out of threats, if your life total is high enough, you can still just win with sledge, because they don't have the option to just banish your entire hand with the mask, right? So if you can get the mask out, it feels actually very, very good for you. It becomes, in my opinion, a favorite matchup once the mask is gone. But the only way to really do that is to kind of line up a crumble, like an early crumble, into like a frozen. Okay, you hate civic steps. It's the like most efficient guardian boots at this point to be like in everything. It's 3 health, and you can generally make it to where the go again doesn't matter. It's a little tricky against new, just because like you don't want to just automatically give their stuff go again, but their damage output's really low. So as long as you can keep from getting disruptive constantly, then it's still pretty strong. And I like this a lot into like Zen and some other matchups as well. And a lot of times we're swapping this out for like AB, so you don't even have to worry about it against things like this, right? So I'm playing against, in the last round, we're 3-3. And at this point, I'm just playing because, I want more experience with the deck. I play against a Vinset, okay? So Vinset here, I play it very similarly to the Guardian like board plan. So I'm cutting all of these cards, but I'm playing Stalagmite and Titan's Fist because Frostbites like absolutely wreck Vinset. So there was like an error in our ruling. So like we didn't call a judge over anything like that, but the way I read the card is that Runegate, even if they have a Frostbite, it increases the cost of the card of something like a Deathly Well to 4. So that way they don't have to pay for the Frostbite. That is completely incorrect. Do not do that. If they have a Frostbite, they still have to pitch an extra card to be able to play the Deathly Well. So we were playing the match as if they didn't have to pay for the Frostbites. And again, like I said, this is 3-3. In hindsight, I definitely should have called a judge and said like, hey, is this correct? Because I wasn't absolutely sure, but the way I read the card, it made sense to me, the way they were explaining it. Dude's super cool, like very nice guy. They have been testing with their team, or not their team, but like their testing group or whatever. And that's the way they've been playing it. And he said that it was like always still a very bad matchup. Even with that situation, he's like, yeah, you probably got this one easy. I was like, okay, that's fair, So I didn't even bother because, like I said, it's just 3-3. At this point, all we're doing is playing for elo, right? So even with them having like the buff in that match, I still was able to like pretty easily get there because of Count Your Blessings and all these other things and the added disruption from the discards of Frostfang, Fellings, and Command and Conquer, Pummels, Oakenolds. Like all of these cards are just insane, right? So they also played Reaping Blade, and I was still able to kind of play around that with the Count Your Blessings because we were walking each other's life totals down. So yeah, it was interesting. There's a lot of times where if you're playing against a list where you are doing that, you take a certain number of rune chants where you equalize life totals, then you play your Count Your Blessings, and then you use your extra floating to be able to stop that. So you just get your life back, and then you're back ahead. It'd be like 3-3, and then I gain up to like 8, and then I take one more, and then their attack comes in. I block, and then I send something like a Frostbank for Arsenal. Still very strong. But yeah, again, Frostbites, Channel Lake Frigid, insane in that matchup. That they will almost instantly buy you full tempo, and you're able to just close it out super easy. So yeah, that was my Battle Hardened run. I think I would still play this list if I was to go to Memphis tomorrow. I think this is probably the list I would play, maybe with some minor differences, like ever so slightly. And I would really have to think about those differences. If I wasn't too concerned about playing the Smack of Reality into Viscerai because of the way that the matchups have been playing, where I don't even get to play that card and I can still just kind of fatigue based on when they decide to go off. I would cut Smack, I would cut Goliath Gauntlet, and I would cut probably the Yellow Flourish for some additional, just some other consistency, maybe some staunch response or something like that, because we know that Warrior is going to be better because they're getting some support. So if a Dory comes around and they're very aggressive, staunch response can be very important there. So just kind of some thoughts that you can go back and forth on if you want to play a little more defensively in that sense. But I think the tempo plan with all of these cards is absolutely very important, and to me, the best way to play the deck so far. So yeah, I do strongly believe that I could have top 8'd this Battle Hardened if I made the correct play lines in these matchups that I was talking about, the Riptide playing the Sledge, and then the Noob playing that in a different manner based on the context clues of how the match was going and how their deck was constructed. I think I definitely could have got there. But all in all, we didn't, and there's no telling, like, even if I won the Riptide, I wouldn't play against New, I'd play against something else, and there might be a high likelihood that I play against Enigma, and Enigma is, like, literally impossible for this deck, for this variant of the deck. So Enigma, you could do everything that you could possibly think of for this list, and it's like, if you Oakenold pummel 3 times in a row, all they have to do is say, okay, in response to the Oakenold hit trigger, I'm going to play my auras out. Now they don't have to discard anything, and the auras stay around. That's why it's so difficult. I still think you should try. I'm always the type of person that you should always give it your best shot, no matter what. But if you can tell, like, you're super behind, it's probably not a bad idea to take a mental break and go ahead and, like, throw it in the bin. It is what it is. That matchup, you're not going to get anywhere. So you have a list that's similar to the Outsiders era Oldham, just because I miss playing him in the era. Had success on it. Okay. Yeah, I assume you're talking like more aggressive, like Guardian Blues and stuff like that. Yeah. I do. I have played that list. I still think this one is just inherently better in an open field. But that one is interesting. It just makes New very difficult. Feel that my Jarl list is strange, I believe, in Stalagmite. Though, yeah, Stalagmite, definitely a banger of a card. You're going to want to play that in, like, basically every Jarl list, depending on what hammer or pole arm you decide to use. It's still obviously a card that you want to play. Thoughts on the expansion slot for the Illusionists. Does that change the list at all? Okay, so you're talking about Roiling Fissure, so let's bring that up. So Roiling Fissure, a super cool art. Cool card in theory, okay? Destroy an aura with cost X or less, then you may destroy a seismic surge you control if you do repeat the process. So I like the design of this card because it kind of pushes you in such a way to where you might want to play Tectonic Plating. And we don't see a lot of Guardian decks playing Tectonic Plating anymore, which I kind of miss, right? Because as like a OG Bravo player, I love my Tectonic Plating. Love it, right? I want any excuse to be able to play my Cold Foil, Alpha, Tectonic Plating. Trust me, I do. So some interesting play lines that you can have is you have this card, you have a blue, and then maybe you have another blue as a follow-up because you're playing a more like 3-cost intensive deck, kind of like a Bravo-esque, right? So you would make a Seismic Surge, then you would pay X equals 1 into this, and then 1, or you can just pay 0, it just depends, if you're playing against a Viscerite. Right, so they're dropping their Malefic incantations, just kind of setting up for their pivot after they blow up their Rune Chants. You can blow up 2 Malefic incantations that they put out. Or if they played a Blessing, you can also blow up the Blessing before they're able to sacrifice it and get the Rune Chants on the following turn. Right, so it's very interesting for that matchup. I actually like it a lot for that. Into Enigma, this card is not as good as you would expect in theory. I haven't tested it a whole lot, but if you play this card and you want to blow up a Mirror Guide, which is the thing that will get you killed, right? So you need ways to make sure that you can clear this. This is a way to do that. So it could improve the matchup ever so slightly. I don't think it makes it a winning matchup by any means, but I think it is decent tech if things line up properly. But against Enigma, the way that this kind of requires you to play is you need to have a higher blue base in your list, which means that you are cutting inherent threats in these other matchups, which will make these matchups worse for you to try to make an already hard matchup a little bit better, but still in favor, right? So the way you would play this turn in general would be I pay 1 for tectonic plating. I pay 3 plus 1, so there's 5 resources. You have 1 floating. And then you're able to blow up the mirror guy, you blow up the surge, and then you blow up something like a shimmers or something along those lines, which is a great play. And then you want to attack with like an Anethos afterwards. So I think this card is better in like a Bravo-esque list for that reason. But if you do that as, you know, any Guardian, all they have to do is like, yeah, sure, that's gone, but they'll just play a couple more auras, or they can play like a Restless Coalescence and get rid of the counters before you blow it up. Like, there's a lot of things that they can do that make this card kind of hit or miss, right? I think this is a good tool. Don't get me wrong. It's just I don't think it improves it enough for you to have to manipulate the structure of your deck to try to have like a maybe winnable matchup into Enigma, which is already like basically lost, right? So try it out. Prove me wrong that this makes the matchup good. If it makes the matchup good, then I am 100% going to play it. But at least with my limited testing of this card, I have not seen it. Okay, let me catch up on some chat real quick. Let's see. Lots of 3+ cost. Rouse and Zealous. Yep. So you would construct your deck. Oh, you're saying like that's the list that you've been playing. Yeah, to be able to supplement Rouse and Zealous. So it's kind of like playing at this point, if you're playing these 3+ costs, I would rather play Bravo, right? Just talking to Marcus here. You can still do it if you like the ice kind of game plan and whatnot, but you're kind of giving up on like when you build your deck in such a way, you're getting Oakenold, but like you're sacrificing being able to play like Crippling Prussians and Starstruck and other things like that, because you're having to put so many of these like blue generic Guardian attacks that you're losing the identity of the ice and earth in your list, right? So hopefully that makes sense. Like, to me, if I was to play a list like that, I just swap back over to Bravo and be happy. Really wish Mangle and Summit were good in him. I do too. Mangle is my favorite art, and Summit is like one of the coolest weapons ever. It's just we're in a meta right now where Summit doesn't do a whole lot, right? And in the mirror, it's like actually just a disaster if they ever give you a frostbite and you were hoping to like keep 2 blues to attack, because now your Summit costs 7, which is like pretty crazy. If Summit was a 5 cost, the card would probably be played in most lists, but with it being a 6 cost in this more aggressive style meta where you're having to block with multiple cards, like through and only keeping 1 or even none, it makes it very hard to justify. But it does make the other card, where's my mouse? There we go. It makes the Channel Mount Eisen better, right? Because this is kind of a supplemental card to Summit, which is kind of interesting. Not that this would be the reason, like, you would play Summit and then have this card in there, right? This card doesn't push you to play Summit, right? That's all I'm saying. So I completely sack the new matchup because I stopped trying till she leaves. Yeah, no, that's fair. I think you have a good shot with this list if you were to try it out into new. It's just, it's very tricky because they have, like, if you think about the how the damage forks or whatever, or like all the reactions that they have. You ever played against Dory? And I've been playing against Dory basically ever since I started back in like Monarch / Tales of Aria, like kind of the in-between time of that. You can kind of deduce what they have and how much damage they're going to push, so you can block over what that is and be able to halt their turn. New has a similar thing, but they have so many different avenues to where it's like, this could be a +3, it could be a +3/+1, it could be a +3 with Go Again, or they could just give it Go Again and play something else that's more relevant. Or if you block with 3 cards then and they have a chi, they're just like, okay, well now I'm going to banish the last card out of your hand. There's so many things that they can do, which makes it so crazy to kind of like make the correct block. So you kind of have to like do a little risk assessment whenever you're playing against them, to really see like, how can I have a playable turn afterwards. It was right. Now I learned it wasn't rolling fissure. Yeah, roiling fissure. Roiling fissure. Actually, I have a tectonic and a Summit list that is meh. It's fun, but I'd not take it home to mama. I hear ya. Yeah. I mean, there's something about having fun, of course. Like, I love playing tectonic plating. But like I said, I just play Bravo as if I was going to play a tectonic plating list because I love Bravo. Upside is playing Lake Frigid too. Yes, that's true, but in a lot of cases, if you don't have the ice supplement, then you won't be able to play Lake efficiently and be able to keep it around for multiple turns like this list can. Right? Bravo cannot play Arctic Incarceration. That's another good point. Arctic Incarceration is a great card. Great cyber option. It's not in this list, but it is one that we considered over the weakest link. But we needed more poppers just for consistency, and this card has relevance in the matchups you bring it into. Bravo cannot play Arctic. Make it a 1-for-4 card. I want to play more Bravo, but the elemental card pool is the main draw. I understand. I think Ellie put it best when she tweeted that New is basically Dory, but if you guess wrong, they thought sees you every time. Yes, that is the case, which is very frustrating. Like, at least Dory is just damage, and you still get to do something. With New, it's just like, oops, now I get to do nothing if I did this wrong. Like, I should have just blocked my whole hand instead of blocking 2 cards, or I should have just no blocked. Like, that's all there is to it. And you also have to, like, think, okay, if I no block and they rip 1 card out of my hand, how bad is that for me? Honestly, in this meta, I really like cutting Eisen in favor of bringing Lake Frigid and Channel the Bleak Expanse. So, Channel the Bleak Expanse is a card that is like a direct non-bow with you in a lot of cases. It's a 2-block, first off, so I'm not huge on that, this being a 3-block. And you can sometimes just like cheese wins with this, which is really interesting. But it being a 3-block is kind of important. It's also a 0 cost, so you can just play it out, give your opponent a frostbite, attack with your hammer, and that is relevant enough in a lot of cases, believe it or not. Then the channel says that you can't draw cards. That's not a big deal, but you can't reveal cards either, right? So anytime you have a channel out, let's say you draw your Oakenold or you have an Oakenold in Arsenal, you are not ice fusing against that, which is kind of a big deal, right? So I know this is the only card, at least in this specific list, where that matters, but just the potential downside is kind of rough, right? So yeah, other people revealing cards, I'm not super concerned about. The drawing cards is kind of annoying, but I've never really had an issue with my opponent drawing too many cards, unless it was like against an Aurora. And Aurora, you're already like a little favored into anyway, right? So it is a card that has been on my radar. It's just the potential downside with this is kind of rough. Like, I'm already playing Civic Steps. I probably don't need any more potential downsides, if that makes sense. Okay, so yeah, that's it. It's kind of like a pseudo tech here, and then like the recap of the Battle Hardened. I'm going to Memphis, and I'm leaning towards this deck. So we'll see how much I change this, but I will probably play something similar to this, playing the Felling of the Crowns and the Pummels. Rootbound Carapace. Might play some more D-Reacts, like I said, for the Warriors and whatnot. We'll see how Syndra shapes out and how aggressive she is, because she's already looking to be pretty strong. So because of that, it kind of makes me lean towards like wanting to play ice a little bit more in some of this other destructive pieces. And I just really like playing Earth Guardian. As you can see, I got my Oldham on the back, right? So I'm kind of rooted in that, and I just enjoy it. There's not many more things in the game more fun than playing Oakenold and pummeling it, or like playing Felling of the Crown as one of the best 2-card hands to rip your opponent from a card and also force multiple blocks, either a full block from hand or they leak a bunch of damage. It's just super sweet, super sweet. All right, feel what I'm saying, but New and Zen are things. Yes, that is true. That is true. And they can't search. You're correct. Yes, that is important. It does stop the searching. I forgot about that text on that. So like Zen can't just randomly go search their deck for a chi or something, or not a chi. Yes, a chi, and they wouldn't be able to search for a card to banish as well because of the channel. So yeah, there is text. It's just I think these matchups are already a little favored. So like you don't need extra cards to do that when you can have consistent 3 blocks, right? You're always the most fun you had playing Fab. It's close for me. Like, this deck has been really, really enjoyable. I think the most fun I've ever had playing Fab was when I was playing Bravo, basically when I first started, and I was able to have games like where a lot of games would go to second cycle. There's a lot of games in this format where it doesn't go to second cycle, and it's just the way the game has kind of evolved, right? So yeah, the most fun for me was like pitch stacking my cripplings and having back to back like crippling and the spinal, the crippling and the spinal and whatever else. Like that was so fun to me. Um, just I don't know. It's just like a good practice and like kind of a skill level up and whatnot. I also had fun playing Starvo. Call me, small brain or something like that. But like the control Starvo lists were actually really interesting. But this is definitely scratching the itch that I need in the game to like keep me very excited, right? Two-part question. Do you have a full matchup guide? My LGS is overrun with brutes and I struggle against them. Are you able to post your list of matchups on the Discord? I'm a Patreon member. I can post this list for Patreon members. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then I'll show you the brute matchup in just a second. So let me see. Do you think this list can work in Memphis? I do. Like I said, I think if I were to bring this list and I played full optimally, right, didn't make any silly sideboarding mistakes, and like I played in the proper way, reacting to how my opponent is playing, I think I would be very good for that. And the only thing is, like, you just have to hope you dodge Enigma. That's the worst possible matchup. If you see an Enigma, you're gonna have a hard time. Okay, so let's look at the brute real quick just to show you. So the way I've been playing against brute is I do fat stack a little bit because they do have a fatigue angle. It can happen. So against like KOs, having the CYBs is actually not terrible. And it's also okay against like Reinar, for instance, because when they intimidate trigger, if you know you want to keep two specific cards in hand, you can pitch your other card, play your CYB, let the other one be intimidated. You effectively blocked by using your life game, and then you're able to have a good follow-up because you kind of get to choose what you get to keep, right? So it's kind of interesting there. But the stalagmite, huge. You definitely want this in every single brute, just because when they bloodlust, or no, not bloodlust, blood rush bellows, you can really hinder them in certain scenarios depending on what they draw. If they draw like reds or something like that, you can completely just wipe their turn. Then against Levia, the only tricky thing against Levia is if they like drop a Doomsday, you need to be able to clear that. But you have multiple ways to do that. So you have just raw Oakenold. It's very worth just sending 2 card 7 to kill their Blasphemous ally token. Felling does it once you get to that point. Yeah, it's kind of annoying because your trigger doesn't really work. No, it does work. It does work. I apologize. Yeah, so you could do it with that and still get rid of a card in their hand. E-Strike for 7, Command and Conquer, Weakest Link, Boulder Drop, Plow Under. All of these cards still get rid of that, right? So that's the only tricky one. But yeah, Reinar, fine. KO, very close because they also, it's almost like an Ira in a way because of the way they play. If they like cast bones you, like that can be kind of rough too. And then Levia, I have found that it's like not terrible, especially when you're playing CYB. If you notice that their graveyard is really light, that you can just like take a turn to CYB and then they are not going to do much at all, right? So this is why I say ice is good for the game. It checks the meta and makes people think. Yes, it also dictates how people should be boarding, which is kind of important too. Or not boarding, but building the deck in general. Like the existence of ice period makes it to where we're not going to see like Cinders that only have like 7 blues. They'll have way more than that, which I think is important. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We'll play some games as we're chatting, and I can answer questions here and there. Let's play against, I guess, no one. Since we're there, I'll just do a public and let anybody join. I don't mind. If you guys have any like reason that you want me to play competitive CC, that's fine. I just don't want to get into a game where I played against like this Ira, probably a couple weeks ago or something like that, to where I misclicked the pitch that I needed for my sledge. So I like pitched a pummel and a blue. Hey, look, you get a reference on what to do into brute. We'll see if they can like kind of beat me up over that. But yeah, I misclicked. I had a blue in hand that was like absolutely not the arsenal. And I went to undo and they just kept saying no. And I was like, it's turn 2. Like, what are you doing? And I would like undo a few more times. They just kept saying no. I tried to invite them to chat and be like, hey, you know, this was a mixed click. They just denied my chat. I was like, this is silly. Like, why are you doing this? Okay, so a situation like this, you're going first. They want to go second. Makes sense. They're a more aggressive deck. And in case I block or attack, they can block out. In this case, I don't want to attack. I would prefer to keep a blue. We already have a Command and Conquer Pummel set up here. So I'm just going to pitch to the Gauntlets and get rid of this Plowlander for second cycle, maybe, because we're not going to be doing anything with it. I'm going to go ahead and pass and then Arsenal the Pummel and be ready to go next turn. Depending on what they do against me, I'm pretty happy just blocking 2 cards, because if I keep 2 cards and they scowling me, it's pretty annoying. So yeah, in this case, all they can do, they have to pitch all res to be able to play the one attack that's like playable with their hand. So here it's an easy block to go frozen because there's nothing really that we care to frozen. And then I can take the play line of trying to pummel them and keeping this card, so I can pitch this, keep this for Arsenal, but I don't think it's that relevant here. I'm more happy to just send this 6 because they don't have an Arsenal. It's not a big deal, right? There's also the potential to where I can block here and block with the CNC. I think this actually might be the right play just to send this out because we have more cards. We're not afraid of being fatigued. So let's do that because the damage doesn't do anything. It's also hindering their graveyard, and this could really mess up their turns. And I get to keep the crumble too. The reason I would want to block with crumble is because it is an earth and it makes my my decompose a lot more consistent. This is also an earth though, and now we have the play of being able to Command and Conquer anyway into you know, arsenaling like a channel or something like that. So here we're effectively going to block 5. I'm going to block with this crumble to set up more on this decompose line for when we draw a root bound, right? So I'm going to block here, leaking 3. I will go ahead and pitch this. I don't need another here. The reason I'm not keeping that extra ice to keep the channel around a little bit longer, they're also pitching a lot of reds, is if I kept the extra blue and they scowling me, it's just like a disaster, right? So here I'm going to have the tunic counter up, ready to go. This Levi is making questionable plays. I don't necessarily think so, just because of the way that their hands have been structured. So like the first one, it makes sense to play the Beast Within. Like it's just all they could do, right? And then Slithering is the other card that they can play from hand that doesn't require banishes. So, okay, here they didn't block with that. They would be losing their arsenal anyway. Let's go ahead and do this. I kept this card in hand to kind of bait out the scowling anyway, but it didn't happen. So now we're doing 5. We'll get rid of this. Before I pass too far out, I'll just go ahead and get rid of there too. So yeah, this hand doesn't do a whole lot. I think probably the best play line might be the Winter's Bite. It's kind of bad if they discard like a Beast Within, but that's the thing is getting a card out of their hand better than attacking? I think it is. So we'll go ahead and play a Winter's Bite. And they're also playing Shadow of Blasphemfet, so this is telling me that they have a recursion package. Okay, so they did discard, which is what I was kind of thinking about. If they just decided to discard, that does make a lot of sense. But I'll go ahead and gain some of my life back, pass, and in case they play like a Pulping, this could be really strong. I'll be able to play this Weakest Link next turn. I have another life gain outlet here, which is kind of interesting. So let's check our discard. So we have 1, 2, and then that is basically it. We don't need to give up our gloves here because we're not like overly concerned about our decompose, since we're going to have the fruits potentially, and we'll have another root bound. So I think it's okay to just block here and then block with either one. It doesn't really matter. I'll just do the one in hand just because. We'll go ahead and decompose, make our other cards a lot better. we'll have one more earth in there, and then we'll have the other carapace if we need to go ahead and burn that now, if we draw something like a filling. So here is just an easy weakest link. They do play a lot of no block cards. So Slithering, and then the blue 6 that doesn't have block, I think it's called Deadwood Rumbler or something like that. Just a bunch of random things like that. Doomsday is another one, right? So if they have any of these like cards, then they're kind of forced into blocking. And if they use Husk here, like that's huge, right? So they are using the Husk. So now all of our ice cards are going to be really, really strong. So here, Dread Screamer. Now our hand doesn't really do a whole lot, so I'm pretty happy just blocking the majority of this. I will block with Imposing because this card, the longer the game goes on, is worse because we're blocking with more of our auras. And depending on what they send next, I'm actually like pretty okay just playing a Crumble or something like that. I guess I can go search for a Crumble. So many Crumble. I've only blocked with one, so I can go get the other one, pitch this. I think that's probably reasonable. Just to get another, maybe it's just correct to play this from hand. If they have another 1 for 6 too, I'm like pretty okay just blocking this out. Yeah. So we'll block that out. Not a big deal. All right, so they have an agility here. This hand is mainly just a block, and then I can play a boulder drop potentially. So go again here. Now we do have 2 earth, so I can go ahead and get this set up. Now what I will do here is, because we don't have another earth to kind of supplement this whenever we draw our other ones, I'm pretty okay actually blocking with the gauntlets here. That way, when I need to, I can block with it and put another earth into the yard. So I'll go ahead and do this, go ahead and decompose and get the full value out of the root bound. Go ahead and get rid of one of these. I usually get rid of reds. That's kind of best practice here, just in general, because when you play against new, you don't want to banish a Winter's Bite. Okay, so here, I'm just going to block with these 2 cards, and I'm going to attack with a Boulder Drop. Because Boulder Drop does require 1 card. They can't just give a piece of equipment if they want to keep a full card hand. Can't you just play CLF, CNC, and pummel off a 5-card hand? Yes, that was a play that we can make. I do prioritize keeping my life total a little bit higher here because we are boarding up, and we want to be able to kind of survive some of these big blood rush turns that will inevitably happen. And the longer the game goes, if they flip over into Leviathan Consumed, right, especially when they have some of these go again cards that in like the Dread Screamers and whatnot, it can be a little difficult. So got 1 card, a little bit of leak. Unfortunately, it's not red. That doesn't exist yet. If it was red, it would be insane. This is another very mediocre hand. So Doomsday here. Unfortunately, I can't really do anything about this with this specific hand. Okay, they got 2 action points. Here is probably a reasonable time to Civic Steps if we so choose, because they're going to attack with the Blasphemous, and it doesn't really matter. The other thing that I'm kind of thinking about is I can go get Channel and make their turn a lot worse, and then hopefully have something to be able to clap back with to kill that Blasmo. What is happening here? So extra action. I don't see a huge use to actually doing this right now. So I'll just block with the 3. And then it's actually not terrible to use Stalagmite here, just in case. Like if they have a blue in hand, they can still swing claw, which is like whatever. So maybe not directly right now. So we'll just go ahead and take this. Keep it up. Now we kind of know what they have, but I want to... Okay, so it didn't do anything. So let's do 5. We'll go get a channel and just pass and try to dampen their turn a little bit. That way we can keep something. This is kind of unfortunate. So we're going to have to keep 2 cards, which we would have to do anyway, no matter what. But we're probably going to block with these 2. Yep, that caused a resource, buddy. Got to do that. Yeah, 100% we got to kill this Plasmo. It'll just get too much value. I don't mind any of this undoing. It's like, it never really bothers me. So they're just playing a Boneyard. Yeah, okay. So they just have like a huge red hand. So I'm actually pretty open to just keeping this now. Or maybe arsenaling this. This is probably the better arsenal. Just because it does more with the chest being gone. And I can pitch this for like another second cycle or something like that. Because I'm going to use Tunic to be able to play this Command and Conquer. Go ahead and take the 3. Okay, so Tunic. We're going to kill your Plasmo because that guy is annoying. Can't throw a popper in front of that. And they did take a bunch of blood debt there. They're really low. A lot lower than I expected. This is one of the main combos that you want to do with this deck, of course, is this Ice Quake. If they have less equipment, it's obviously significantly better. But here, depending on what they do, they pitched a Blood Rush here. Okay, yeah, because they played a Blood Rush. Makes more sense. Feel like this okay, yeah. Okay, pulping, not a whole lot I can do against this. I think it's pretty reasonable just to block here, just to conserve a little bit. They have 2 floating. They have a couple of other things. I imagine they're probably going to swing claw. That's when I can go ahead and get the value out of the civic steps. But I don't want to just like burn the stalagmite immediately. So now this is a reasonable spot to use the stalagmite. I do run the risk of them passing with a quicken token, but this could incentivize them not to attack again, which is kind of a big deal. Now, because we're not playing the felling next turn, it's probably not a big deal that we block with the gauntlets or not. I think I will, though, just to go ahead and make sure, in case they had like a weird turn where they decided to block out, that that it would be still playable the following turn, right? If they just did nothing the following turn and I didn't get to block. What's up, Brett? Okay, so they are pitching that. I am going to take damage here because I want to keep this. So did this stalagmite do anything? It did. It kept them with a card, so it potentially could have saved us a little bit of damage. I don't know because we don't know the exact context. But now we're going to come in for Frostbite 8, which is going to force them to discard, and they have a Frostbite, which is kind of a big deal. Now, we did see that they were playing the D-React, so they could just pitch to play the D-React block with like a Scabskins, which would be a really like solid play for them. But they don't usually play more than one of those, and we know that's on the bottom of their deck, right? Brett, I still have your iPad, if you're the same Brett. I don't know your last name. All right, so they blocked with a couple of cards. We have this hand. So here, it's kind of interesting on what we're supposed to do. Unfortunately, we can't really do a whole lot with the CYB. I think we're probably just better off blocking with 2 cards, and then whenever we play this felling, we'll just have to bottom it. It is what it is. Yeah, we'll just go like that. I'm going to go a little bit lower. These CYBs will catch us back up, so don't get too worried. Yeah, we're bottoming 1, but we'll see a few more here. A lot lower on the deck than I expected at this stage. All right, felling. It's time. One of the best cards. So get rid of that. Again, best practice. I would always get one of these reds. Doesn't matter what the red is, just get a red. Because you're not getting those back. Unless it's no Oakenold. Don't put Oakenold in there. There is a contingency for that because you do play Sows. Need to meet up with you to get that. Yeah. No, it's all good. It's been a busy week. Get a cough drop. Yeah, felling is like, I don't know. It's probably one of my favorite cards right now. Just in general. This card is like so crazy. It's so crazy. All right, so blocking with Apex means that they're going to block with another card probably, just to get some value. Oh, okay. Interesting. That's questionable to me, but you know, it is what it is. Here is a very weird hand. We can maybe hope to fix this by like crowning potentially, but then you run the risk of like, is it worth it to crown the plow under and then maybe get a blue to be able to have this? I don't believe that using Stalagmite here is going to be a huge deal unless they want to play a 1-cost from hand. Now, they can't claw. I think it is probably okay enough to go ahead and do. I think I want to crown here. So if I crown here, I mean, the best would be to just rip a blue from this. It would be like so insane. But maybe it is correct to just go ahead and get rid of that too, and then keep the plow under. Maybe we can get a blue, and then we can have a plow under. It's a little bit better on the risk assessment. I think we're in a fine enough position that we don't have to take too many risks. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the felling. So it is a blizzard. That's kind of interesting too. But I think it's just better off to keep the extra block in case, or the potential arsenal. Okay. So I'm going to prioritize just blocking here because they could be in a position where they don't arsenal for a while. And it wouldn't really do anything for us. So let's go ahead and Frostfang. See how they block here. It's probably still correct to pummel no matter what. Did I get sick? Yeah, I got like some congestion going on. But we're good now. It's got a deep country music voice. So I still think this is correct to do here, just to get the last 2 cards from their hand. Establish full tempo. We haven't seen an Oakenold in a while. So maybe we can just like natural fuse an Oakenold. It'd be pretty sweet. It's really consistent to natural fuse Oakenold in this deck because of how many Earth and Ice cards that are just in it. Can't do that, buddy. How about that? So good. All right, we are not going to natural fuse an Oakenold, but we can play Icequake into E-Strike for 10, which I also think is pretty strong. There's also the potential for E-Strike to draw a card. There are some cards that we don't want to draw, and I haven't been tracking perfectly to know like what's left. It could be a pummel. I think that's like pretty high likelihood. But no matter what, I think we just need to play this E-Strike. So 10 versus 8. I think the 10 is more important just because of their life total, pushing them down closer to the 3. Because if we can put it in a spot where they have to block the hammer whenever it comes in for 4, it could be a big deal. Okay, so this is definitely eating some cards. So they have Dread Screamer, some Endless Maw. some efficient one cost to be able to do things whenever they have to go again, right? Yeah, this deck is like, even though we're drawing some of these red hands, other variants of Jarl wouldn't be able to go like 7 when the on hit of a Frostbite, you know? Like, it's pretty sweet. So we would have drawn Channel. It was probably correct that we did not draw. Yeah. So another Blood Rush. I can't remember if that... I think they pitched the other one. So I think this is number 2. Can't remember exactly. This would have been a pretty good turn to have the Stalagmite. Just kind of thinking. All right, so we have a good amount of earth here that we can go ahead and get the value out of Rootbound, but I'm gonna go ahead and just block here. So they pitch 2. And they'll probably just send something like an Endless Maw, to be real. Let's go ahead and do this. They did pitch a Blood Rush. Yeah, they played a Blood Rush, pitching a Blood Rush. It makes a lot of sense for them to just play Endless here, which is why I played in this manner. That's fair too. Maybe that was a misplay. Yeah, Civic Steps could mean 5 more damage, which would be really annoying. Okay, it doesn't, so that's convenient. Me attacking here doesn't do anything, so I'm just going to gain life. Now from this stage, we can actually just fatigue because I have so much blood depth. So I'll block for 6. We're going to be playing these CYBs pretty quickly. Like they're basically back to back. Another Dread Screamer. Interesting. So we'll take this one. Ooh, Swing Dig. Swing Dig is pretty solid. Okay, so here I'm thinking it might be correct to just go ahead and play this. It might be correct actually just to block, and then when we draw another CYB, we can tune and counter CYB. So let's just block, and then that way we can just Arsenal. And we keep our life totals at 4. Then they got one more turn after this. So kind of unfortunate that we draw no blue here, but would have happened anyway. If we're giving on the Enigma, is Jarl stronger than Victor? Wait, if we are giving on the Enigma, it's Jarl stronger than Victor. So you're asking if Jarl is stronger than Victor? I think it probably is. So here, I guess I'll just like pitch the Count Your Blessings and play a Count Your Blessings and block 9. Need to meet up with you. Sorry, yeah, number 2, third pitched. I was wondering about get more value forcing him to lose a card. I don't believe so because they have the go again options here. Just getting rid of a card is like kind of whatever. They have a lot of blues. So I think just having the life is probably a little bit better at this stage. What did they discard? They discarded a barraging. That's pretty bad for them. So I think I value the life here more. I think it's what God. Sorry, buddy. Yikes. Yeah. Okay. So just to kind of continue this turn, the way this would work is I would probably just play a Plow Under before doing that. Play a Count Your Blessings, Arsenal of Other Count Your Blessings. Then the follow-up turn would be another set, so I could de-react with the Pulse, giving them a Frostbite on whether they play first. Play a Count Your Blessings off a Tunic. Block with another card, so I'd pitch this, do that. Block 3, gain a bunch of life. Or I could block and then double CYB, so there's a lot of options there. Okay, let's look at Viscerai, because I've been liking the Viscerai matchup pretty well. It's very interesting. What a turn, discard BBD and roll a 1. Yeah, it happens as Levias sometimes. You got to know what you're getting into. Okay, so this hand is just barely off of just like turn 1 Oaken. Now this is a very weird Viscerai, so I don't really know how this is supposed to go for that reason. I guess here, I just don't really want to do anything. I'll Arsenal this Pummel, I guess, but that's all I really got. Brute Life right there. That's a fact. That's a fact. You gotta know what you're getting into. Okay. I don't think this is a good representation of the current Viscerais. Sorry, guys. It could be, actually. Like, they could do some pretty jacked up stuff here. But because they're not playing Reaping Blade, I can just play like all the CYBs and do whatever. Okay, so they're getting Malefic, so I don't know. Okay, just passing. Well, I'm gonna Oakenhold, you know. Bonk bonk. Pretty sweet. Has Dominate. Face Purgatory does nothing. What on earth is this Viscera cooking with? I don't know. They got like Dollar General brand, you know, Pam or something going on. They're making their eggs and they taste a little crusty. You know what I'm saying? Mm. Walking with the equipment. I see. Walk with another piece of equipment. Nah, I'm going to pummel you. Oh, yeah, we're 100% pummeling. What do you mean? Gonna make this game go quicker. Play against a different Viscerai. Arsenal this channel. Really cool play. You can channel into CNC. We don't have to do that because we have like a billion cards anyway. Then CNC. Actually, there's like merit to using Tunic here. CNC, they block like that. There's no reason to use Goliath. Yeah, let's use the Tunic here. I know it looks weird. I just don't want to get like blown out by the Face Purgatory. I want to Arsenal this other CNC. Yeah, they got the McDonald's dollar menu Viscera going on here. I'm more of a Taco Bell dollar menu guy myself, but you know. All right. Lots of thoughts. What the fuck is this? They are Face Purgatory. The next Rune Blade attack action card you play this turn costs 1 less for each rune chant you control. Interesting. Okay, so, yep. Tunic, big play, big brain play. Use Tunic, keep card. Love it. Oh, we lost it. We can keep Tunic another turn. It's pretty sweet. We can pitch this red and then the other one. Or not Tunic, keep Channel. You know what I mean. And then we can AB with the fruits. Maybe block the other fruits on their Nebula Blade. I don't know. There's a lot of options. I want to try to keep this channel around if I can. It's Dirge time. Got to pitch a card for that. Oh, yeah. Because they had a Frostbite and a channel. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You love to see that. I'm more inclined to actually Goliath here now. Just so I can do this. Because they don't have the head anymore, so it's like, okay, now you have to give me a lot more cards to actually, like, give a shit. Never mind, their list is based. I'm in the wrong for not running Vast Beyond. You're right. Oh, God. The art's sick, though. Oh, yeah. I love it when they block with this card. I like it when they block with 3 cards. It's really cool. Now they have no way to, like, just play a read or anything like that. Man. Jarl's good, guys. He's good. I've had this AirPod in my ear the entire time. I just kind of forgot about it. I have, like, no music playing. I'm just, like, weirdly just have it in there. All right, I got music playing now. Guess what music I'm listening to? I'll give you a genre. Heck yeah. Or give me the genre. You give me the genre. I'm not giving you the genre. Sick. Is there any way we can do some, like, or no, we can't. Cannot. I guess we can play, like, channel. That's kind of cute. Head. I'll attack you. Looking forward to running this revised list tomorrow at your LGS. Absolutely. Yeah, it is a form of metal. Yes. But you know me, Ed Frank Black. You're local to mine, and we've ridden in the car together a lot. So you kind of cheated. It's not fair. Yeah, that makes sense. Should be listening to King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Is that real? Is that real? Is that a thing? I want it to be a thing. It's not classic rock. I do like classic rock too. Classic rock is good. I get it. You're making a dad joke because I'm a dad, so you're like, oh, he's obviously got to be listening. Freebird's a great guess, actually, based on the memes. 100% fantastic guess. This is a weird turn. The reason being is we know they're playing Succumb because of their weird ass list. So I think I am just going to take an off turn here. These Plowhunters are pretty dog. I'm gonna keep the Boulder Drop just because it's like literally the better card. I can no blocks this just because I don't have to worry about anything else. And even like I can play the Plow next turn if I so choose, or I can play the Boulder Drop off of Tunic. Like there's options here. Thrash Metal, not Thrash Metal. It's Prog Metal at this stage. Okay, they just did nothing interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna Boulder Drop them because it's more damage. It's just a better card. Real Band has a Mastodon member. I see. They are real and they are cool. Okay, I love Mastodon. Mastodon's sweet. Here's a fun fact. My in-laws, one of their cousins, played in Mastodon. Oh, pretty sweet. I like Mastodon. Mastodon's good. Yeah, Prague is sweet. Now it's like newer Prague, but I do like Tool, but I'm not listening to Tool. I mean, who doesn't like Tool, right? If you played Guitar Hero, or Guitar Hero at any point, did they mean to pass? Okay. If you play Guitar Hero at any point, then you got to be like a Tool fan, right? Saw Mastodon for their Leviathan anniversary in December here in Melbourne. Nice, nice. I saw them when they came out here, and they were really good. Like because we were on the floor like in the pit, and it got wild. Like on the heavy chugs, everybody's just like, bam, yeah, it was sweet. What the big Sonata? Uh, I'm pretty cool taking an off turn here. What did they grab? Does it? It tells me what they grab. Vexing and drawn. Yes, vexing and drawn. Okay. I don't think this pulse does anything, so I'm gonna do that. Who's on the barrier? Got some nice photos. That's nice. That's nice. Yeah, the one that we went to, I went with Ed Freight Black as well. Was a Ghost headliner, and Mastodon and Spirit Box were playing with them. Yeah, I'll go ahead and block. That's fine. Swinging Hammer doesn't really do anything. Ghost was really good though. They're like their production quality is just like so strong. You got a drumstick? That's sick. I love drumsticks. Good food. Just messing with you. Whoops. I'm not paying for the other one. Here you go. I'll keep the Pumal. Yeah, the show was really good. Yeah, Andre was getting wild with it. Ah, okay. Interesting. Reset Cliffs, Suede Hiding Me. Very fun. Ah, it's sword time. Gotta love that. I'm gonna skip these. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's worth like using the armor now. Probably not, to be honest. Uh, I'll take it. It is kind of like a swing for 5. So I want an Arsenal, please. Thanks. No, my pitch. It's terrible. Looks like we're blocking with this Ice Quake, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, that makes the most sense. There's like no way they leave me with cards. We're just blocking. Oh, hello. You are the Archetype. They usually do a different genre every album. I'll have to check it out. Knew the Halo Effect album. Sorry, I missed some of these. Yeah, they have 29 albums. Jesus Christ. King Gizzard. What a name. It's a good name, though. Man. Viscerai. Wild Viscerai deck. Oh my gosh, we're going to get domed by these Malefics. We're done. We're dead. Sorry, guys. Wrap it up. 2 Rune Chance. Not like this. That 2 block is going to kill me. Nope. Nope. Come on. There we go. 2 block. Succumb me. I'm going to succumb. Ah. Okay. I'll just pummel you, I guess. Haha, I got him. What is this? I like this. Oh, this song's pretty banger. At least in the middle of it. Band called Stoneside. It's just like heavy thaw. It's sick. A gent. Get him. This hand is actually not terrible. Because we have tear. Dude, we can flourish and tear. All right, banging, getting them. Check this out. Hammer for 8. Got him. Wait, how does bro go again? Oh, I don't know. I don't remember what I said, to be honest with you. Yeah, we have a lot more locals in the chat because the snow has killed all armory activities for the day. So, yeah, that's right. Titan's Fist for 8. Buddy, got him. Banging. Another succumb gone. That's important to know. All succumbs are gone. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna succumb. Is that what you were referencing? I'm gonna succumb. Yeah, there's no significant like upside to blocking any of this. I'm just mid ranging this dude. Take your damage. Trying to stay cool under the aircon. Not going outside either. That's fair. Fair enough. Stay cool. We're trying to stay warm. Head. This looks like pummel. They're like, oh man. So it's giving me more time to play PoE2. That's fair. That's fair. I started a new character I'm going to start trying to work on. I made a Titan. And it was okay. I wasn't like overly impressed with it. Because melee is like significantly worse than any other range class in like spellcaster or whatever, obviously. But I'm going to keep doing it because that's the way I like to play those games. So the next character is another warrior, but it's going to be a war bringer, and I'm going to do the shout thing because it's really strong. So it's the way I want to play, right? Yeah, I'm not going to be like insanely fast at clearing maps, but I'm going to be super tanky, and I will clear maps very easily once I get to that point. My Titan, I'm at maps too. So, I mean, it's like fine. It's not my favorite. Just the class in general is not my favorite. I'm just not like, I don't know, I'm not into the spellcaster thing. Just like it feels like you do a little bit more when you play, like the warrior class. Like you're doing more, you have to be more intentional on what your like plan is. Just like how I want to play a video game. I have a Sword Chronomancer that only uses warrior skills, being able to cast the up. Yeah, I've seen that build. It's like kind of insane. It's like nuts. Because I was looking up like a Hammer of the Gods build, and I was like, oh, okay. Was the best Hammer of the Gods build, expecting it to be a warrior, and it was just a Chronomancer. I was like, this is stupid. Like you get to cast it so many times so quickly. It was just bananas. It was just like hammer, play hammer again, play it again. You just like one shot everything, and the AOE on that thing is nuts. What are you doing? Malefic Pass. Ooh. Malefic Pass. How about Boulder Drop? We're playing like the weirdest mid-range game here. It's just like I send random thing and then I like count my blessings randomly. Let me gain back up to 38. Yeah, I saw the Chronomancer thing. I thought it was sweet. The other thing I'd be like maybe interested in doing is like Gemling Stacker. Be kind of cool. If I just no blocks all of this, I can Ice Quake, Frostwing, and Pummel it, which would be kind of neat. It's pretty big. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Not so much life to play with. take it. I'll go to 25. Oh, shit. Cancel. This, yes. Head. This, legs. Dev stream is Sunday, hoping they announce dates for more classes. Yes, I am big into some more classes. I wouldn't mind seeing like a sword melee class, because obviously we've only been using maces. Being a Guardian player, I'm cool with it. I play Guardian in any video game, it doesn't matter. But if they like full block this too, I'm like 100% just not doing anything. They have 2 frostbites. It's probably correct just to like not. What are they doing? Like literally nothing. Yeah. So I can Winter's Bite next turn, then attack. I can even play a So tomorrow. But 1 and 2. Oh, hey, that's not terrible. I wanted to block anyway, so this kind of works out. So I can AB. And no, it's kind of awkward. See what B makes this like a little weird. Maybe I'll just. Yeah, maybe I'll just take this. I'll take it all. I can't do anything else. I'm gonna Winter's Bite them and play CYP. I'll just call it. It's fine. Waiting for a Druid build. Hopefully there's some good bug fixes incoming. Yeah. Druid, I played that in D4. And it was like pretty interesting. I also played Barbarian in D4. So I played the Whirlwind build a little bit. And then I swapped over to Hammer of the Ancients. And that was pretty sweet. Like, I would go into PvP and just absolutely decimate everybody. Man. Just not getting the goods, just natural crazy hands. I think this is... Oh, sounded like a Cold Night for Alligators. Mainly a Druid in D4 too. Yeah. Druid's cool. I've played like Sorcerer in those games before, and I just get so bored with it because it's like just the same shit over and over again. Oh, dude, this smack is actually insane now. Yeah. Somebody in one of my Discords was playing this like crazy build where I have to just go ahead and pummel. Playing some like crazy build where they're casting like the comets or whatever, just back to back, which is like the most expensive spell in the game. And it was just like basically free rolling the comets, and they were just killing everything. It was just a 1 button build. It was absolutely nuts. I was like, this looks broken. Yeah, smack pummel. That's kind of like what you want to do against the normal Viscerize too, if you can help it. Interesting. I guess I just play the other smack. I don't need this other CYB, so I'm just gonna overpitch it. It's just like bigger damage number. I'm trying to like not keep the CYB in hand so I can like actually draw something to use this Oakenold for. Because once I like play the Oakenold, the game's over basically. That was the last pummel. Oh, I'll take it? Oh, never mind. Oh, they're also at like 8 cards in deck. I'm not even paying attention to that. The easy matchup, guys. Easy. Said, all right, I'm going to pay for it. Make it happen. I guess we'll do CYB next. Hey, we did it. We did the thing. Neat. I hope they play a go again card, and I'll just blizzard it. And also stalagmite. That'd be very strong. I don't even need this one in Arsenal. What am I doing? What are they doing? What? Hello? It doesn't have go again. There's no point. Right? It doesn't have go again. I'm not tripping. I'm going to pitch at this blizzard. If it has go again, then I'm scrubbing. I mean, yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, this game is very over. Play this one. They could have a defense reaction in their arsenal. It's not technically over. It's over. All right. Fair enough. Okay. Probably not a Zuri. Let me do a competitive one, so we don't get another one of those. The Leviathan was reasonable, but that one was like not reasonable. Jarl Mirror. They are also on the same deck. It is kind of coin flippy. But if they are not, and they are not on CYB, they're on Heart of Ice. Interesting. Yeah, here I think it's just easy enough to. Man, like arsenaling this is kind of mid too. I don't necessarily want an arsenal with this. Maybe I can pitch into that. Pitch like this, boom, boom, and then attack, and then no arsenal. Well, it looks like super weird, but I don't want these cards right now. The Sotomaros like being next to each other is kind of mid too. Oh shit, sorry. Yeah, whatever. Misclick. I don't care. Just do your thing. No, my gloves or my tunic, maybe. I don't know. Which one do you care about more, sir? It just means I get Crown of Seed or Crown of Providence fodder. I guess I'll swing sledge again. Yeah. Do it like that. Zuri's going to be crazy being able to equip the stall tagger. Yeah, that's probably true. Probably true. There's like an argument to using gloves to get rid of that card too. Bing bang bong. Any non-CYB list. Like you're looking for a list that isn't CYB. You prefer not to play CYB, it sounds like. They pummel me here. It's kind of annoying, I guess. I'm going to block this card. And gauntlets. Because, you know, I need to. Block, block. Aha! We keep the pummel. Bang, bang. Can't believe they didn't let me undo, but it's whatever. I just didn't want to arsenal that card. Doesn't like actually matter. Yeah, there's some lists that you can take out the CYB and play some like other tech things like seeds tomorrow, and like maybe plume and some other random stuff. I just think the CYB is really strong. I think it's like super strong in the mirror too. All right, it's time to use like maybe even just play this out. Huh. What do we do here? I don't want to just like give away this, you know? Just because like it does make, since we know they're on Icequakes now, it's like not amazing. That is actually a little annoying too. Don't have anything. How do we mess around with this? I think I want to keep the tunic so I can east right next turn, and then maybe I can just get rid of this. I'll do this now. I'll do this now. Summer's Fall. Okay, whatever. Yeah, that card can. I do not care about that card in the slightest. Decompose, buddy. I am just gonna eat this. Looks kind of weird, but hey, this is kind of like playing around it too. Just kind of. No, it's not. Shit. All right, we're just gonna swing. I'm gonna get this out because I hate it. This build they're running is wacky. Yes. Yes. I don't know. This is like kind of where I started when I like started building the Jarl list, like Summersfall and Mangles and all that. Like, it's not too far off. Dang. All right, so they blocked with the Plow Under. Does that mean they have another Plow Under? Be kind of annoying. Winter's Bite. Not like this. I'll pay the 1 with Boulder Drop. And I'm probably going to use Rootbound. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to use Rootbound. Interesting. It's kind of annoying. So, is it worth it more to me to attack? I think so, since I don't think they're on CYB. I have a little bit more of that. I am playing more cards than them, though, so it could be worth just, like, blocking this. I'm not opposed to that either. So, like, if I do that, just pass, give them a full hand. They play Mangle, so it could be pretty annoying, too. Sure. I will block it here, just because I'm running more cards, and I think I can... I'm more incentivized to keep my life total high because of the more cards. Yeah, people who like don't allow undos in this really frustrate me, because specifically it's like, why the hell would I arsenal a card like that? You obviously know that I misclicked this. So, I mean, it's whatever. Like, people can do whatever the fuck they want. Just like, if you're trying to get good practice, why wouldn't you allow somebody to do like a minor misclick and undo? People are just like, I don't know. If there was a ranked mode in this, I guess it would make more sense, but there's not. Like, you're literally doing this for fun. So, they just want to beat me because they know they're on stream or something, I guess. So, okay. Mangle time. And this is just dominated Mangle. I don't really care as much, I guess. I guess I do care, considering that I only have 2 blocks in hand. Gross. I think I'm going to keep this here. I think that's a little more important. I will go ahead and use this. Get rid of the gloves. I hate it, but it is what it is. I think keeping the tunic is like really important at this stage. It's actually not terrible to lose it in this specific deck, but you definitely want to keep it if you can. And then depending on how they block it, if they block exactly 5, then I'll probably just play the CYB, because I expect that they'll have like a root bound. Oh, interesting. So I know they have a block card in hand, so it does, yeah, okay. I'm going to use that information because you didn't let me undo, buddy. Because they don't want good practice, they just want the bragging rights of, oh, look how good they, so yeah, sure. I mean, that's fair. Like, I don't get that. Maybe it's just me playing so long that I don't have like this unnecessary need of having my deck list just look crazy. But you can just go in and alter that shit anyway. It doesn't matter. This is kind of cool, right? I can like Icequake, E-Strike. Kind of like that. Full buff power. I'll play a CYB. Got another CYB for second cycle. It's gonna be so good. They have no CYB. Haha. They've already used like multiple mangles too, which is like basically their all of the mangles, basically their closing power. Okay. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, it looks like we're taking Nate. Ooh. Felling of the Crown. Go again. Yeah, take that. Take that, nerd. Got me. I'll game 4. That's why you don't play on Talishar a bunch unless it's against someone like you, Damien, Nathan. Sure. Like, people you know that, like, it's intentional. Most of the time when I play, it's... I'd say nowadays, like, probably 3/4 of the time, it's against intentional playtesters. Oh, this hand's banging. Not anymore. I guess I have... Ooh, yeah, I got the Frostbite too. Interesting. I want to keep the Fellings around. I think Felling is more important. Well, I say that. We have 2 ice cards. I'm going to pitch the Felling. There's an art, like, depending on what they attack with too, it could be important to keep some of these other ones. But I think I just want to attack with the Sledge here. Take a little bit of damage. There was an argument to like pitching the Okindle and then arsenaling that, but I think having the attack is probably just fine. Definitely don't play in Talishar anymore unless it's against someone you know. Yeah, I mean, like, if I just need reps on the deck, it's like pretty important for me to just like get more games, to get more experience, especially on like a very weird, versatile list like this. So, ooh, this is kind of interesting. So you guys will see kind of this play line. So I'm going to have to discard, obviously. But I'm going to go ahead and decompose and play Count Your Blessings too. So the discard, I guess Plowender. Yeah, Plowender is 100% better. So play this, decompose, get rid of you, and always the red if you can help it. And I'm going to pitch this because I know I can't do anything the next turn anyway. Get rid of that, gain some life, done. Nah, sure, they got full tempo, who cares? But yeah, Talishar, I really like Talishar. Just having access to it, I think, is really nice. You're frustrating. Oh well. At least I won't discard any cards this time. Fruits frozen, felling, pretty good pitch stack there. They're doing a whole lot of nothing. Yep, I'll take 3. Full tempo on Jarl is a myth. I mean, they have tempo. They do have tempo. But, like, what is it doing for them? Not much. They're doing 3 damage. So, whatever. Oh, this hand fucks. It's so good. Yep. It's not good anymore. Okay, yeah, whatever. Okay, so I have 2 frostbites. I can activate Tunic. Send 6. Does that matter? I don't think it particularly does. Okay, well, let me do the math right. So I'm gonna have 2 frostbites. Pitch, pay the 2 to do this, go 2, attack for 6. I think that's probably worth it. What? You having issues? Okay. Am I having issues? All right, 6. Boom. I did basically a sledge. Uh-oh. Goodbye, Tunic. Who cares? Showing me fruits. Oh, so no ice card. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that does not matter to me at all. Not at all. Ah, nerd. I'll just do it next turn. It's fine. I drew the hand that does it anyway. This and this. I just did 2-card 1. That's right. So good. So good. Are you dead? Lamau. Okay. Yeah. Decide to not undo me. Who cares? All right. I might embarrass myself here because this matchup is so goddamn difficult that, like, we will see. You guys, bash me if you want to. It is very hard. It's very hard. I'm not on the streaming. It's you can definitely make some mistakes. So just prefacing that. Arctic Puffin. I recognize this name. I think. Yeah, okay. So standard equipment setup, 66. Maybe CYB, double beckoning. That would make sense to me. Have a local new that occasionally rocks up on a Sunday. Armory, so we'll be good to watch this game. Okay, well, again, I'll do my best. Do my best. It's just very difficult. I have to, like, continue to play this. It's been a little while. You just have to fatigue the new. It does end up doing that eventually. This card is very important here, so I want to keep it. And if they, like, randomly Sirens call me on turn 1, I want to keep this card too, right? So I'm going to no blocks this, even though there is a potential, like, disaster that comes from this. Another dagger? Yeah, so that's one of the downsides is the levels and being able to go again and draw a card. I will go ahead and block, I believe, because there's not many things that I'm, like, overly concerned about that blocking 6 wouldn't, like, be fine for. Have your stack be all yellows? Yes, that is also very good. Again, these are important blues because I want to play these. So that's the reason I'm blocking with the yellow. Okay, cool. This is actually pretty sweet. If I draw a blue, this is solid. Okay, so channel is very strong here, but I think it is probably a little more important to play crumble. But I also want to attack, right? So maybe I just go get a crumble and then play maybe Boulder Drop just to get some cards out of them. Because I want to like establish tempo, or I can play Channel and play Crumble. But I would have to pitch this and not attack. So, hold on. Just imposing Crumble, Mask, and Sledge. Yeah, Sledge is fine too. Yeah, because I want to keep the blues. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I think that's probably the better line. Well, it doesn't particularly matter how we pitch. Get a Crumble, Mask, and Sledge. Channel is just like really good against their deck a lot of times. But I want to get that frozen, baby. Gotta get that frozen. That way they can let it go. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Interesting. Okay, so they're blocking more cards. Got a Just the Nick and a Venom's Spite. That's like actually pretty huge. Pitch these. And doesn't do a whole lot. Looking for a scrap. I don't particularly... Oh. Huh. Interesting. Their hand was dog water, bro. No! Oh, I got. Fuck! I didn't know it went on that, too. Shit. Hold on. Oh, I thought it was on a... Ooh, you learn something every day. How about that? God, I'm fucked. No! God, I'm fucked. Oh, man. Jesus Christ. What a play. What blues do you side out in this matchup? The attacks. I side out the fruits. I have never played against a Siren's Call played on anything other than an assassin attack. So I had just assumed that is okay. You know, I've played this matchup a decent amount. Just never thought about that. That is wild. Huh. Interesting. I don't know how good this Blizzard is here. They have Tunic, so it's like whatever. I don't usually give a shit about the beckoning. Maybe it's like big brain to maybe block with this. And then that way, if they like Sirens Call me again, I can like Blizzard, and then they wouldn't draw a card. Is that big brain? Should I do that? Maybe. This matchup's so hard. Yeah, I don't know. They just played a Siren's Call. I don't know if it's that good. I'm gonna block this. You can tell me if I'm wrong, Metal. Mm-hmm. Okay, is it worth it now? Probably not. Good. You can have this one. Levels of Enlighten me, buddy. Wands of Attraction. So this one banishes a card. Card from the graveyard. Is there any card that I care about? Not really. So this being an on-hit, I can give Gloves to kind of bait something out. I think that's probably good enough. Okay. It's fine. The only other thing that could be annoying here is maybe like... I'm going to banish the blue. I don't necessarily want... If they had like a blue and a codex or something, then that's like... I guess they're not codexing anything important. But like a leave no witnesses is kind of annoying, so... Yeah, there we go. It might have been correct to go ahead and Blizzard there too. I think I'm probably okay just using Crown here. I want to put them in a position to where maybe they want to. I don't know. I just feel bad using the civic steps here. Let's get rid of that. Okay, this is reasonable arsenal. Okay, this will probably get a couple of cards out of them. Now we're like open to the arsenal disruption though, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. At least this theoretically is going to draw some cards out of their hand. Or it's a CYP, and then that is it is what it is. Or they just full take this, which is also terrifying. Yeah. CYP, that makes sense. Ooh. Scar for a scar is spicy. Now, hey, they have less cards. We have less to worry about. Fingers crossed we get something decent. This is actually not terrible. Okay, Blade, don't really care, I don't think. Like, if it's not a surgical. Levels is annoying, but I'd rather block the levels. Okay, that's fine. So, banish the blue card, draw a card. We're blocking with a red. That's fine. All right, this into weakest link, which they have a lot of cards. They like actively just have to burn their hand if they have CYBs. They also have to block it like as much as they possibly can if they have the chi and stuff like that. Like, we can really mess them up here. They can just play the chi out so we don't draw a card. Not that it particularly matters, but now that we have established a little bit of tempo, it feels a little bit better. Okay, yeah. So like I said, ooh, okay, interesting. Another D-React, maybe? So knowing that they're on so many D-Reacts is like, that makes the sledge plan like we want to be attacking a little bit more. Siren's Call, that's actually pretty huge to note. Yeah, weakest link is like pretty nuts of bananas for sure. Oh, this hand fucks. It's so good. Oaken Old, this and this. There you go. Nice Siren's Call, nerd. We're just doing the aggro thing because we can't find our Frozen to death. But we would play this anyway. Like, my only wish is that this was like a Frozen or something. That'd be really cool. That way we can, like, once we have full tempo, we just say, see ya, mask. See you later. Now, there's a world where I don't pummel this, but I think I do. I think I just do it. Like, because they might have a CYB in hand, it's whatever. Like, they just gain a bunch of life and don't care about the on-hit, really. Stack. That one first. Because we want them to get randomized and then discard the card that they would want to keep in their deck, maybe. But no, we just like full Monty got them. They didn't have any way to play around that. It's wild. Right, see ya looking. This hand is kind of mid, but it's reasonable enough. This is where I would wish they would Sirens Call me and be really strong. I guess we can just CYB. I guess we could like sledge too. I don't think that's like ideal. I think I would rather just CYB. Put the pummel in Arsenal, buff power. Or not Arsenal, but on the bottom of the deck. Very nice. Easy peasy 7. They probably, I could see where they just don't block this, but they have so many reacts. They like pitch so many reacts at this point that like they probably aren't going to do that. They might want to just keep their hand to present some sort of disruption. That would make the most sense to me. Okay, one block. Wouldn't be surprised if they stop there. Okay, yep. Yeah, okay, interesting. Let's go ahead and use that. Get it out of the way. We could do channel into frostbang, which is pretty sweet. Does flourish add to the buff power on E-Strike? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. But I wanted to play the CYB. Persuasive prognosis. So banish the top card situation. Because they kept a bunch of cards, it tells me that they probably have pumps and whatnot. I'm okay just blocking like this, I believe. They can mask me here, though, actually. I think I don't block this, because I want to keep this to be able to have this line. So I'm going to block with the gloves. Just to force them to do something. This tells me venomous bite or something along those lines. Oh, we knew that. We knew that. Yeah, geez, I totally forgot about that. I need to keep that in my memory. So this is probably the correct block, or not the gauntlets, but just no blocking it would have been correct. Now I'm like kind of leaning towards. It's probably still correct to play Frostbang because they don't know what my arsenal is. Okay. I think I want to pitch this. Yeah, Flourish also adds to the buff of the decomposed cards. I don't know if I already said that, but it's pretty cool. It just like randomly works. So optimally for them, they would want to block for 5. This also is reasonable because that means that they have a direct in hand. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, Icequake Boulder Drop is pretty sweet. I'm gonna no blocks this because I don't care. Flat damage doesn't matter, like at all. If they Sirens called me there, it would have been like one of the most clutch plays. I would have been so screwed. Oh man. Persuasive. So just a neck, potentially some arousing, some other things. Stay aroused, buddies. There's a world where I'm like potentially okay with this, but I could want to arsenal this. Mask would be very annoying because I want to keep this. Maybe I just give the steps. I think this is probably right again, just because of like the weird situation that it runs into. Yeah, so mask, that makes sense. Now here, unironically, I'm gonna get rid of the Sotomaro. Just because it puts an earth there, so my like first decompose is actually gonna be strong. Even though I have the root bound, it's like still reasonable. And I actively want to play the Boulder Drop just because they do have a Quicken token now. So I want to like threaten more cards out of their hand. Okay. I know I'm not pitching my yellows in as much, but I mean, like, this is the difference between them deciding they want to keep one card or keep 3 cards as opposed to forced to block with 2 cards, right? So that's kind of the intention that I have. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I'm into it. Prospect time. Unfortunate plow under sequence. Okay, this is fine actually. I said that it was fine. It's not fine anymore. Ooh, ooh. Oh, do I just let this go? Like, I can't do anything against this. Oh, interesting. If I block here and here, lose that. I can block 1, take this, play CNC, just to do something. I'm like probably fine with that. I lose this. Kind of sucks. I just like, I do nothing next turn. I think I just had to play the CNC. Because I had the frailty token. That's unfortunate. Whatever. And they are getting an arsenal too. You gotta remember the ponder. There's a world where the plow under could have been better, but I kind of like the CNC just because they do play a shit ton of D-reacts. Yep, 2 cards. Happy. Did its job. Did its job. Got a surgical out. I don't have to worry about that. So probably block here and here. So no block there then. I'll just use the root bound, see what they do. I can also CYB if they sirens call me. It's pretty sweet. See ya later, cards. Reds, always reds. Take the reds out. Do nothing? Question mark. Got me? Yeah, this hand is like so versatile. This is a really cool hand. I All right, so because of the way this worked, I think what I'll do is E-strike bottoming this, saying go again. Depending on what they use on the arsenal, I can swing Sledge, or I can swing Command and Conquer, which also demands cards, right? So, pretty important. Super cool hand. It's like very interesting to think about sequencing-wise. I got plenty of earth. I got so much fuel for my decomposes. Yummy, yummy. No more blocked with 2 plow unders. It's kind of annoying, but the fellings are the cards that matter, right? It's the transcend card earlier. So just 1 card block. Okay, wonderful. So that means CNC is actually good. Because this is getting 2 cards no matter what. Whether it's play CYB from Arsenal or something along those lines. Frozen Death, this card that we could potentially Arsenal. Scrap. Okay. Alright, so this tells me probably Codex and Arsenal. Because I don't believe I know what it is. So, weirdly enough, I'm probably going to block with this with the expectation that it's going to be that, which means that I would discard a card and then I get to block with another one, right? So, um, yeah. Because even playing the weakest link is a reasonable play. So I'm going to block with this, expecting Codex. Okay, it's not Codex. So I can still Arsenal Frozen. Yeah, Plow Under is definitely an Earth Block 3 more often, for sure. Yeah, Felling is actively like a card you want to be playing every single time you see it, as long as you can get it in for 8. Even if it's not 8, it's still pretty good. Yeah, so this Frozen should put in the work, I hope. Yeah, I 100% thought that was going to be a Codex. Because I haven't played like any. It's weird to me. Super weird. Huh. What could it be then? What is the potential there? Yeah, I have no idea. Probably some react. Venomous Bite, Hiss, something along those lines. Ons. Really don't know. Alright, show me the hand, full information. Playing this, not playing that. Or they are playing it. Okay, so they did Rising Moon. Oh, they just played it. I see. Surgical Codex. So not much that we had to worry about that. Weird hand. Okay. Yes. His hand's awkward. All right, silver. So surgical codex unknown. Interesting. Okay. Well, we are forced to block this, obviously. I'm gonna give steps with the hope that they just have nothing else that they can do. Okay, so it's hiss. So hiss was the arsenal. So they have a sliver created. They banish a card, correct? So I think it's probably just correct to go ahead and double CYB here. What's up? What's up? Appreciate you joining us, Adrian. Yeah, so now they get like no hand hate, which is pretty sweet. Why was that banished? Why was that banished? Huh? I don't know. All right, I just want to frozen you, buddy. That's all it takes. Just let me keep a blue and a frostwing, and we're good. And I'll block with these two cards. It's all good. What's up, gamer? What you doing, Damien? You burn out on PoE2 right now? How do you hear Jarl? How much do I care about this? They banish a card. There's no card in graveyard that I really care about. That's fine. I'll take this. How do I tier Ice, Earth, CYB builds? Clearly, you think CYB is better than the Earth Decomposed build, and why is it because of the meta? So it's not clearly because this is the Earth Decomposed build, right? So this is a hardcore tempo deck. Like the whole deck is very based around just being tempo oriented. Unfortunate, my pummel no. But the CYB is in the board to be able to have game into matchups like New and Viscerai and Ira and the Mirror and things like that. It just improves it, right? So that's the big thing. And some locals are bringing Guardian in tomorrow's. Excuse me, AGE. Hope you can watch. Yeah, I would love to. I would love to. I like this. I like this band. Whatever this chugging is. Why doesn't it have go again? The fuck is happening? What? Oh, you drew a card. Oh, okay, interesting. I guess I'll just block. Like, what else am I doing with this card? Okay, yeah, whatever. Oh, it has. Fuck! It has the slither. I forgot about that. Shit. God, we're fucked. Oh, we're fucked. Yeah. See, when you think about this stuff, it's so difficult. Slither time. Yeah, whatever. It makes more sense. I should have known. Should have thought about that. Hey, at least we blocked more, I guess. Okay. Please do nothing that matters. Sure, you can redo. I don't care. Oh no, they're gonna mask me. Yikes. Okay, they're not gonna mask me. CNC? Another one? Yeah, sure. Mask me. The mat. Jesus Christ. Unfortunate. Yeah, take it. I know. Get rid of my card. Fuck you. I guess I'll play the winner's right just to get a card out. It's like the only thing I can do. I should not have blocked. I should have known better. My discipline. Where is it? I knew there was a slither in Arsenal. I'm just stupid. They could just like pitch a blue, play a CYB. Which means there's less cards to care about in their hand to think about when it comes to blocking, I guess. But, oh, they just pitch a CYB. Sure. Okay, I have more cards to do things. This is kind of a banger too, because I can like Frozen to Death, fusing, have the CYB to just play out. That was the last Siren's Call though. We don't have to worry about that crazy card anymore. I hate that card. I hate all of these Thoughtseize cards. They're so annoying. They're so annoying. Double Trouble, top 2 cards. Don't care. That's fine. Okay. Let's go again. Sure. Mask. Mask me. Mask me up. Yeah, makes sense. Okay. Okay. That's fine. That sucks. Unfortunate. Okay. Yeah, whatever. All right, not a blue. Please. Yes. Damn it. Not another one of those, though. Oh, yeah, that's the pitch deck. Ah, God, we're there. No. No. It's fine, though. It's fine. Frozen to Death. Reveal. Blow up thing. That one. Play this. Pass. We do have Oaken. Oaken is pretty sweet. CYB makes Frozen Death a better card. That's right. Boy, we grinding here. That card's annoying. Damien, what do I do against this? What do I do? What do, Dame? What do, Damien? Let me think. Thinking. Do you... I have a yellow on top. Trust. Trust. I know the pitch deck. Yellow on top trust. Yes. I guess I could just no block this. It's probably like fine. Hmm. Just take it? You think you take it? Oh, I'm calling the chat. Bro. I know there's a delay, but is there this much of a delay? Jesus. Oh, just take it. Okay, cool. It's a yellow on top. Don't worry. Okay. My yellow. I knew it. See? Banger. Dude, I'm goated. Easy peasy. La Mal. So they have D reacts. I guess I can give up like that, but it's time to play this card, you know. Just make it happen. I've only played 3 CYBs. This still feels pretty good. Like, this position, getting rid of the mask is like pretty big. Then we knew that that was inside. Yes, in theory we did. I didn't remember exactly because I wasn't keeping track because streamer. But yeah, that's the thing. Even if they did like rip a card from the hand, I think the hand is still like reasonably playable. Direct, come on, you had a zillion of those. CYB in response. Yep, makes sense. Okay, last card. Okay, yep. All of this makes sense. I think I'm more inclined to just do this. Keep this. This is just like the better arsenal. I think I have a pummel. I do. Yeah, I bottomed a pummel. Channel Lake about to put in the work. 100% card slapping. So good. Watch out. It could be pummel. You wouldn't know. They wouldn't get it. They wouldn't get it. Yeah. Okay. This is a rough sauce for them. Yeah, you got to pay 2. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 1. Okay, so yellow is left. Yes. So yellow is going to gain 6 life. So we're affected 29. So you can see how difficult this matchup is. Like we're doing pretty well. Like it feels pretty decent at this stage. So okay. This is not bad. Just have to see what they decide to go with. There should be a stack of red D reacts from earlier now. Yes, correct. So the channel is quite insane here with all those red D reacts back to back. I'm fine with taking this, I believe. Yep. We can even arsenal this other channel. Just like pretty sweet. Switch this. And I actively want to do it here because I want to put the pummel on it while I have the channel up. I'm going to have another channel ready to go too, which is pretty cool. I'm going to let them pitch. Huh. I think I need to force it just to keep the channel around. I know this just eats the next one. I know they have it. I understand. I get it. But I want to keep the channel. I think the channel is very important. Yep. It just makes it difficult for them to do anything. I can arsenal another channel and be happy. That sounds sweet. How many D-Rex have they used? I need to check that before I start zooming on that. I think they have another one in their hand too. They do. Which means that I could probably just go ahead and plow and play this other channel. Yeah. No, it looks kind of weird. It's like actually kind of disgusting. Then here, I guess I'll use the flourish. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Plow under for 9. Ah, okay. I thought it was a D-React. They had to pitch so much. Oh my god. Insane. No need to compose. You don't have an arsenal anywhere. I'll keep that one, thanks. Yeah, we'll arsenal. Now, I thought they had something. I could have swore that was going to be a D-React. It's kind of like unfortunate I didn't just tear something. This is surely a D-React, but it's still very annoying for them to play around. So we're just going to do it this way. Yeah, maybe it is correct to put the red back in the deck. Have another Terrace under ready. About to be a Flourish believer. It's pretty sweet. Like when it works, it works. So this is gonna get 3 cards out of their hand no matter what the circumstances. Obviously, we would prefer it to be from discards, but there's no way to keep this channel around. Which kind of sucks, but they'll pitch to play Fate Foreseen. Yep. Yep. Go ahead. Yep. Just is what it is. I got a CNC, something to keep in mind. But this position is very favorable for us because of just the circumstances that we're at. So I think I'm okay still arsenaling this since we are at this stage. How many of these levels have you played? Levels. Okay, all of those. There's only like 1 card that I actively really care about, so I'm going to take this. It doesn't do anything. Okay. Command and Conquer makes sense. I'll block with these cards. This doesn't do anything. Channel actually like has somewhat relevant text sometimes. Yeah, so it being codex, obviously you didn't want to block that dagger anyway. You don't want to block like anything at this stage for the most part, within reason. So codex, they have another codex. So we'll be able to do it again. So maybe it was incorrect to arsenal this tear. No, it was correct because we would have to get rid of a card, right? So we needed to keep that. Okay. Bunch of chi in hand too. That's what that tells me. Now, hey, check this out. You can flourish the Terra Sunder and come in for insane amounts. Ooh. So, venomous, 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 hiss, 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 Nick, Nick. There's only 2 Nicks. Is that right? Yeah, 2 Nicks. I think that's right. So if it's Nick, they can't really do a whole lot more. They'll probably just cash in the armor here, so it's probably not worth me, excuse me, blocking. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna block. Mm-hmm. Okay. Slither time. Nick. Yep. And obviously, this is kind of annoying because it's going to get a card out of my deck if they do the channel or the winner's bite. Yeah, the last count is near the top, but they're about to shuffle my deck, so can't really do anything about that. And then the other thing they can do, they can start using the chi. Their other follow up is Codex. So this is a Codex turn coming in, probably CNC, which means that I need to get 2 cards. Luckily, they took that. Well, I say luckily, it's actually pretty annoying. So yeah, they'll chi, and then I'll need to block. Oh, okay, it's only a lead though. Okay. I'm gonna give 2 cards here. I think these 2 cards is probably fine enough. We'll do that. Yeah. Just because of a rousing wave, we want to play around that, and I can swing sled for 6. Now, obviously, this hand is going to contain CYB, so. Now, their whole hand should be Chi. They, again, still have a Codex, which is, like, kind of frustrating. So this Terra Sunder is, like, literally dead. And they can get my channel out already, too. We just got to keep every card. Yeah, I mean, they're going to make me do it with everything, so. Don't CYB on their turn. What if they don't winner spot me twice? Then it's probably good enough. Flourish. Yeah. I don't care. Don't care about that dagger. Yeah, that's true. Well, I wouldn't be able to attack last turn if I kept Yellow Boulder, right? Oh, really? Oh, I might have fucked up then. Damn, that sucks. Okay. Yeah. Oh, this is like a pretty crazy out for them, right? Potentially. Because they can codex me now and then I have to take it. This. What gains power? Oh, yeah, those. Yep. Ooh, this is spicy. Jeez. Okay, so I just CYB here. So I just block with that card. That was a misplay too. Oh yeah, I'm super screwed now because of the cheat. I lost the game. Unfortunate. Yeah, that's difficult. They played really well. Yep, I lost. I don't think there was a way I could play around that either. Yep. Double T. Yep. You got me. Yeah. So very strong player. I don't think most of the players are going to be that strong, but like at your armories or whatever the events are, the maybe they are at the HE, but yeah, super good. There was a way to play around that. How would I play around that? The pulse, I guess, like having the pulse. I don't know. Playing the pulse, pitching the count, I guess, is the line. I think that would make the most sense. Pitch to CYB, protect your blues. Yeah. But I'd have to, yeah, okay. So in pitch that to the winner's bite. That makes sense. Yeah, to the winner's bite. Yeah. Bahard, who was on stream during Osaka. Okay, fair. Yeah, they're probably pretty good then. So, fair enough. Yeah, that's an interesting game. Like that, when it gets that low and it's like super technical, that's like a solid game state. It's kind of hard. I don't know. Like, I think that's a pretty 50-50 matchup. Yeah, it's definitely weird. Hmm. I don't know. I guess it would have mattered potentially. Just losing all of my bites was really bad. If I was there a world where I can not get bonds on the bites? Like if I blocked with a bite, but then that turn would be really bad. Wouldn't be able to do anything follow up. I guess. Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. It's a matchup that I just need to play like 500 reps into with like good reps to actually understand how to play it properly. There's so many things to think about, so many play lines. The Gamer 101 is very good at playing new and also Jarl. So I like to go towards them when it comes to the questions. All right. Well, I think that's going to be it. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. And stick around for the next one. We'll probably do a stream next week as well. Players misplayed interaction is pretty crazy too. Yes, yes it is. Yeah, so they get that and they're able to pump their surgical extraction. Yeah, you could tell that they were a very strong player. They knew what they were doing in that sense. Yeah, super interesting. But yeah, this deck is sweet. So if you guys like it, definitely try it out. Just take these cards and do a screenshot or something. And then I'll post the list to the Patreon because this has like all the matchups. I don't want to just like give that away for free, but you guys, you basically seen everything. Just do the homework. It's fine. Before you go for the event, can I grab the list on the Discord, please? Yes, yes, I'm about to do that. Okay, so we're gonna sign off there. I'll make sure you get that list, and we will see you guys next time. Hopefully, I see some of you in Memphis. And yeah, just holler at me. I'm friendly. All right, see you guys. Thank you guys. No, thank you. All right, and